the next case.
All parties in the matter, Blair versus Moore. Step forward.
Food consultant Gail Blair is suing her cookbook co-author, Christine Moore, for payment for work on the book.
Miss Blair, you have an awful lot of papers there.
Yes, I do.
I know you do. This is what I think your case is about. You and the defendant entered into a business relationship to co-author a book. It was a book about certain foods that you eat to detox your body. You were to do the recipes, and she was to do the text.
Not
She
exactly.
was to do, who was to do the recipes?
Joint.
And you were to do the...
Both of us contributed to the recipes, and
Not
my
true.
part was intellectual property, and then the cost of production.
Intellectual property is a ridiculous statement.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You work for hours. Nobody buys the product. I don't want a game show. I don't want a talk show. I don't want another court show. I don't want another Survivor show. And you've done all the work and you can't sell it. We don't get paid for the hours. Do you understand?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Food consultant Gail Blair says cookbook co-author Christine Moore owes for her work on the book. Christine is countersuing for book costs and legal fees.
Now, Miss Moore, if you create a recipe, it's an intellectual property. The fact that you do it in a clinic and use a certain methodology, that is also an intellectual property, if it's unique. But it's no more unique than creating a recipe. Do you understand? No, I didn't know you understand. So I'm going to make this case very simple. According to you, you contributed recipes and she tried to publish the book without giving you appropriate attribution.
Correct.
Did you publish the book?
Yes.
Did you make any money?
No.
Did you sell any copies?
None for profit.
Not true. It's on Amazon.
Show me.
The Amazon placement is the E1. I have the email that says I ceased and desisted of the hard copy of the book.
Just a second. Is what you're telling me you purchased the book online?
Yep.
I'd like to see it. Okay, well, clearly she purchased this book.
Yep.
Not a yup, that's a yes.
Yes.
Clearly?
Yes.
Clearly she purchased this book. And she has a receipt that she purchased the book online less than a month ago.
Correct.
And your agreement with her was that this was a partnership wherein she would contribute the recipes and be co-author on this book.
No.
Well, you tell me what your agreement was.
Our agreement over a glass of wine was I already
That's
had
not true.
recipes.
Shh, just a second. Tell me when it took place.
It was in, I'm going to say on the book. I'd known her for probably a year before we started the book, and I was reticent. She had been...
Now, don't tell me you were reticent.
Okay.
You had known her for about a year.
ma'am.
You said before we started the book.
Before we
And-
started talking about the book.
No, we started the book. Let's go.
Okay.
Sitting over drink. And
Okay. And there was a agreement that we would both contribute recipes. She was going to fill in and create recipes, not copy and paste.
Just a second.
I was going to create recipes. We both had time involved, and then I was the professional part of it that leads the detox and the finances behind it. And after we would receive a profit, then we would split all monies 50-50. That was our agreement.
just a second. Sounds perfectly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
How much money did you put into the book?
$4,500.
For what?
Production and editing.
How much did you contribute to the book?
In hours?
No.
Oh.
In
Oh, I'm
cash
sorry.
money.
In cash money? That wasn't part of our agreement.
Just
I didn't contribute any money.
So the answer would be zero.
Zero.
And how much profit did you make from the book?
Zero.
How much profit did you make on the book?
Zero.
You're not entitled to any money. That wasn't your agreement. Your agreement was once she covered her expenses, you would share the profits 50-50. You made no profit. You get no money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen, having written a few books, I know that there's cost of editing, there's cost of photography. There are all different kinds of costs that have to be covered
Right.
before you start to make a profit. That was your agreement. It's a very simple thing. There was no profit. Correct?
Correct.
Correct. We're done. Thank you.
Ma'am, may I please address? I would really request a release so that I may further do the cookbook.
No way. This is all about cash. That's what I have to determine. You want to decide on intellectual property? Go someplace else. You had a contract. You were supposed to make half the profits after she
That was not our agreement.
Well, I think that it was your
that
agreement.
means my work is not worth anything.
Your work is worth nothing if the work doesn't produce anything. Listen, I work in an industry where you can produce things that are fantasies in your mind. You try to put them down and put them on tape. You work for hours. Nobody buys the product. 99% of what we make, nobody buys. I don't want a game show. I don't want a talk show. I don't want another court show. I don't want another Survivor show. And you've done all the work and you can't sell it. That doesn't mean you get any profit. We don't get paid for the hours. Do you understand? You take a chance. You went into business, you took a chance. You didn't make any money. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I'm glad to have it all just put to bed.
Know the person's integrity that you're working with, because I think character has more to do with anything else in contract.
You gave him $750. You didn't pay him the $200.
Right. A buyer-seller tug of war.
You repossessed the car. He took it back. You took it back from him.
But who's pulling the judge's leg?
How much did it cost you to repossess the car?
$5,347.
I don't believe that you spent $5,000 because he owed you $200.
I got it itemized right here.
You can have it itemized from here to Pluto.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Robert Silas is suing Adrian Height for the money he paid for a car, repair costs, lost wages, and punitive damages.
Order. All rise. It's case number 318 on the calendar, the matter of Silas versus Height. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Silas, case is rather interesting, sir. You purchased a car, is that right?
Yes.
From the defendant.
Yes.
And the purchase price of the car was $950.
Yes.
Did you have a relationship with him?
Not at all. It was just a vehicle that I saw parked along the road near the house.
It was just a straight business deal.
Yes.
Purchase price was $950, and the deal was made on what date in June?
I believe June the 1st.
Of this year.
Yes.
And he was a very trusting soul because all you had was $750.
Exactly.
Which you gave him, $750, owing him $200, which you told him you would have to him after the weekend.
Yes.
And you didn't.
I absolutely did have that available. There were multiple calls on the 4th, which is the day that I was due. Come 7:30 p.m., I was told that he would not be able to receive the payment on that day.
Who told you that?
The defendant, Mr. Height.
Do you recall that?
I recall him calling, but that's not true, Your Honor.
What's not true?
When he called to make the payment, I told him to put the payment in the drop box because we were closed, and my cars aren't parked along the side of the road either. That's also not true. I have a business.
Just a second. You told him to put the payment in the drop box.
Yeah, there's a drop box right there by the service department.
But it was cash. I wouldn't put cash in a drop box.
Well, he could have got a money order.
Just a second. I wouldn't put cash in a drop box.
He can get a money order.
I wouldn't put cash in a drop box.
Okay.
So, on what date was this that he called you on the 4th?
It was after business hours on the 4th, yeah.
So he told you, don't bring it in, put it in the drop box. I would have done the same thing, Mr. Silas. I would not have put it in the drop box. I would have gone to his place of business on June 5th. Did you do that?
I was unaware.
Just a second. Did you go to where he was on the 5th? The answer is yes or no. No. Did you go on the 6th?
Your Honor, I was unaware of where his business actually was. The place that I received the car was a vacant lot next to a building that I was unaware was associated with him.
I don't care. Mr. Silas, this is your case.
Yes.
You didn't pay him the $200 and he repossessed the car. You took it back from him. He took it back from you. He now has the car. You want your money back.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not going to get
Actually,
it.
I'm sorry. It wasn't for the money. It was for the car. And actually, like I said, on the 4th, he's saying that he told me to deliver his money. I had it, and I took a picture of it to prove that I had it because he refused to take it.
Mr. Silas.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't care what this ridiculous story is you're telling me. If he said to you it's after business and put it in a drop box at this building, wherever it was, then you go the next day to the building.
I was unaware of any place to deliver any money.
Mr. Silas, you have phone number. You have phone number which gets text messages. Do you have a series starting on the 5th of text messages saying?
I absolutely
then
do,
I
Your
would
Honor.
like to see the series of text messages that you have with him starting on June the 6th, that you wanted to give him his money and that you had his money. Where do you put it? And his responses to you. That I'd like to see.
This is the only text that I was able to send him. This is of the 6th. This was the first time that he gave me an address where I could actually deliver his money, and this is of the 6th. And I was prepared to do this right before my shift that day, which starts at 10 o'clock.
Just a second. You said to me you had a whole series of texts.
That is the only text because, as you see at the bottom, he told me always call, never to text, and that's the only text I sent him. So from after that, there are multiple calls to his number.
I'd like to see it.
All right, it starts with May the 31st, the day that I found the vehicle, and then the number starting with 258 would be his.
I'd like to see it.
And there are multiple listings for multiple days. I have listings of multiple calls on the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Would you find something in between June 7th and you tell me when the next phone call you made to him was?
Pardon me?
I want you to find the next call you made to him after June the 7th.
After the 7th.
After June the 7th.
Yes, ma'am, I was trying to explain that.
Don't explain it. Show me the next phone call you have recorded after June the 7th.
I can't because when I looked for his business, another number to contact him by, since he wasn't returning my calls, I couldn't find anything associated with the business listed on the receipt I was given, Quality TNA. The only number I had for him, I called multiple times and he stopped responding to me.
Just to pay careful attention. What you said to me was, I have multiple calls to him, 258. That would suggest to me that every day, every other day, because you still owed him $200, you would be calling. I see a call on June the 7th. I asked you when the next call you made for him, because I don't see any other calls. It was 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. I don't have any other.
He didn't call.
Your Honor, I have 10 calls logged between those times. And I try to look for any other avenue.
Just a second. Just show me the next call after June 7th on your phone. I didn't see it.
May I consult my counsel, please?
He's lying.
What I'm looking for is where you tried to find any other means for me to.
No.
I'm just
I can explain it if you call me up.
Yeah, could I call on my counsel because I'm not able to explain why it is that I'm not able to contact the defendant.
I can. He didn't call.
Because I've tried, like I say, I've got at least 10 calls within those spans.
All I want you to do is show me. You keep picking up your phone, Mr. Silas, and showing me your phone. You say I have multiple calls. I saw one phone call on June the 7th.
It is. That's the only number I had as it was listed on the phone.
So then don't go like this and say I have multiple calls. There were no multiple calls on your phone.
There are. They're all between the 3rd and the 7th. Like that's.
You got.
Like, I was doing the 4th.
I'm not talking to you on the 3rd. Mr. Silas, I'm talking to you. He told you on the 4th, according to you, put it in the drop box.
He never instructed me to deliver money to him because he never gave me an address where he was. I found the car in a vacant lot on the side of the street. I never saw a business. And I can prove that he has no business.
What difference does it make? You say you bought a car on the side of the road. What kind of business does he have to have?
Well, he filled me out a receipt as a
business does he have to have? If he sold you a car by the side that you bought at the side of the road and gave him $750 for it, he doesn't have to have a business.
Well, if he refused to return my calls, what recourse do I have to?
That's all I want to see. That's what you're trying to show me.
I showed you all the calls that I have that I.
No,
Your
Mr.
Honor?
Silas, what you showed me was one telephone call on the 6th.
I'm sorry, that's not one. There are multiple calls between the 1st and the 7th. There are at least 10.
After the 7th, she done said it 10 times.
You
Jesus.
bought the car on the 1st of June, Mr. Silas, 2018.
I did.
You told him that after the weekend, you would give him the remainder of the money. That's not the 2nd or 3rd. The next thing you said was, on the 4th, I contacted him, and he told me to put the money.
I did not say that. He said that.
When you contacted him on the 4th, what was the conversation?
The conversation I had after the third call.
I don't know if it was the third call because you can't prove it. You want to tell me what the conversation was?
I have 3 calls here.
Do you want to tell me what the conversation was?
Yes, Yes, Your Honor, I do. I called and explained that I'd finally collected all $200. And he told me that he was not able to make himself available to get it because I offered to deliver it
Just a second. So he said to you, I'm not available now to take your money. Just a second. Mr. Silas, he said, I'm not available now to take your money.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you said?
I said, I will hang on to it. And I tried to contact him again, like I said, on the 5th, early morning before my shift ever started. The reason we were having trouble connecting on that particular day is that as a delivery driver, when a dispatch comes in and hits my number, I need to go and leave and go to the restaurant to be prepared for it. And that could happen at any given time. So at 7:30 in the evening that evening, I was unencumbered and figured I could stay so for the rest of the evening and told him I'm ready at any time to deliver the rest of your money. And he told me I can't do it tonight. Hang on to it and try and get me in the morning, which is why the only reason I would call anybody at 7 o'clock when I don't have to be up till about 9 is to finish business. And he either did not call or did not answer me. I left my contact information and then I waited that day. And then the next day I called him back. That would be on the 6th, and left another message and my contact information and never received an answer back again. And I called again on the 7th. After this point, I figured the ball would be in his point.
You don't have any proof of that, sir. You have a proof that you made one phone call to him in June, and I said, find the next phone call that you made, not the first.
Your Honor, I could point out all 10 calls that I made to him on this phone.
I want to see what phone calls you made to him after the phone call on June 6th. That's what I'm asking you.
There was one on the 7th, and that was the last one.
Show me on the 7th. Maybe I'm wrong with the date.
Due on the 4th, I called on the 5th, the 6th, and here's the final one on the 7th. I tried for 3 days after the time that he told me he was not available.
June 5th, June 6th, and June 7th, at reasonable hours, Mr. Haidt, during the day. 12:15 p.m., 10 a.m.
Does it show a duration of call? Because he could have just called and hung up.
Could be.
I didn't receive any calls from the guy.
Bird, do me a favor.
Sure.
I would like to point out there are 4 calls on the 6th.
Is there a way, I know that usually they say seconds, that a phone call. Do you understand what I mean?
The duration of the call?
Yes.
May I may be able to bring that up.
I was just going to say, if there's no answer, it's usually not much
well,
of a
if he
duration.
rings a couple of times, yeah.
There you go.
There it is. 45 seconds on the 7th.
45 seconds. Show me how you did it.
All right. If you click on the icon of the that should have been a picture, that'll tell you the length of call for the length of the call. So the icon that ought to be a picture, then underneath the phone number,
45 seconds.
He didn't just hang up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You gave him credit for $200.
I got it itemized right here.
You can have it itemized from here to Pluto.
Yep.
If you think that I believe that you spent $5,000 to repossess a $900 piece of junk, I have a bridge that I want to sell you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Silas says Adrian Haidt conned him when he repossessed a car before he could make the final payment. Adrian is countersuing for repossession, impound fees, and repair costs.
Okay, Mr. Haidt, then you repossessed the car. He took it back. You took it back from him. Where is the car now?
It's at the shop. Is where it's at.
What is it doing at the shop?
It had repairs that need to be done to it, and I haven't transported it back to the car lot yet.
You haven't transported it back to where?
To the car lot, because I don't know if he's going to come and steal it again or something.
Okay.
So, it's in a secure location.
Okay. You sold the car to him for $950, correct?
$750.
No, you sold it to him for $950. He only gave you $750.
I got the original bill of sale.
How much did you sell him the car for?
$750.
$750?
Yeah, it's a cheap car.
Just a second. He said he gave you $750.
No, he gave me $549 as a deposit. Here it is right here.
Oh.
That is a fabrication on the bill.
Also, I'm registered with the Secretary of State, so it's not on the side of the road.
Can I see the bill?
Got a business. The total was $750. He put down $550 or $549, and he owed me $200.
Mr. Height.
Yes, ma'am.
You filed an answer that I know you read because you made certain changes on it right before you came into court. I want you to read the second full line in the answer that you filed.
The second line?
The second full line in the answer.
After he took the car?
No. Plaintiff contacted me about buying a car I had for sale this past June. That's the first line. Yeah. Read the second line.
I'm sorry.
I agreed to sell it to him for $950, but he didn't have all the money. I agreed to take the majority of the cost up front if he paid me the remaining balance in a couple of days, since it was only $200. That's your statement, sir.
Yeah. He had a junk car.
That's your statement.
He had a junk car for the other $200.
Whatever it was, that's what you wrote here.
It was,
right?
It was a total of $950.
That's what you said.
Because I gave him a $200 credit for his junk car.
Fine. So they purchased, listen to me, sir, the purchase price, now take that back, Bert, was $950. You gave him credit, may have given him credit for a $200 trade-in, which says something about it in here. All right. Now, the car is back at your shop. What I want to know is, how much did it cost you to repossess the car?
Too much, not even what the car's worth. $5,347.
Well, then I don't believe you. Okay. No, that I don't believe.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't believe that you spent $5,000 because he owed you $200.
No.
Now we're not playing with each other. I don't believe that. So if you don't have a legitimate figure for me, sir, that I believe, because they don't keep this face around here because I'm stupid.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Silas claims Adrian Height conned him regarding the sale of a car.
Okay, I don't believe that you spent $5,000 because he owed you $200.
No.
Now we're not playing with each other. I don't believe that. So if you don't have a legitimate figure for me, sir, that I believe, because they don't keep this face around here because I'm stupid. Businessman like you didn't sell a piece of junk car for $750 plus his old junk car and then spend $5,000 to redeem it. That didn't happen. So if it didn't happen, when you took the car back, where was the title to the car?
All righty. As soon as I retrieved...
Where was the title to the car? That requires...
Still in his possession, to the best of my knowledge.
And he was keeping the title to the car until you paid him the $200?
Yes.
So if he gets paid the $200, then you're whole.
Absolutely not.
Then give me something that I believe, sir. I don't believe you $5,200 for repo.
I had to go get keys made for the car. Also had to get work done to the car after I repossessed it.
Not happening, sir.
Okay.
It's not happening.
Car also got impounded. I had to pay the impound fees.
How much? Just a second. What was the impound fee?
$255.
Can I see the impound fee, please?
Right there.
Yeah, $255.
Plus, I had to pay a driver to drive the car back. It's another $50.
I don't believe any of the words that you're telling me now, sir, since you gave me the $5,200 for a repo fee.
I had to look for the car.
Do you understand what I'm saying? If you sold it for $950, you gave him credit for $200.
I got it itemized right here.
You want me... You can have it itemized from here to Pluto.
Yep.
If you think that I believe that you spent $5,000 to repossess a $900 piece of junk, then I have a bridge that I want to sell you.
Okay.
So far, sir, you gave him $750. You didn't pay him the $200.
Right.
Is that right? He repossessed the car. It cost him at least $255 in impound fees. That leaves a balance of $495. How long did you use the car? From June 1st.
It was intermittent. It was intermittent because of the need for repairs. I only got about a month full of...
Just a second. When, for the first time, did he repossess the car?
July the 29th.
So you had the car for 2 months?
Yes.
And if you had the car for 2 months and used it for work, you got $250 worth out of the car. You don't deserve a thing.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You used his property. You didn't finish paying for his property. He had to repossess the car. I'm not giving... If he said to me, I paid somebody $50 to pick up the car, I would maybe believe him, but $5,200 I'm not believing. But the impound fee from the Carmel police, that I believe.
Your Honor, if I may.
That I believe. You may do whatever you like. I'm telling you, he owes you nothing. You used his property for 2 months before he repossessed it. You hadn't finished paying for it. He's like a bank. He's allowed to do that. I don't want him to be unjustly enriched. However, you did use the car for 2 months. If you had to rent a car, you couldn't rent a car for $250 a month for work. You're entitled to nothing. Neither are you. We're done. You have the car.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
This man perpetrated a fraud against me.
I got him in a secure location so he can't steal it back again.
I lost tons of money.
If you owe somebody, you call him.
I was in a particular spot where I needed a vehicle that ran, and mine did not.
He had it for a couple of months and didn't call.
He was willing to work with me, which seemed like a very reasonable thing.
If we got to take action for you not paying, we do so.
Day she threw me out.
I've had just about enough.
This is the third time he's suing me, and I've had enough.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
James McCoy is suing his ex-girlfriend, Kathleen Adams, for unpaid wages and the return of his belongings.
Order. All rise. It's case number 496 on the calendar in the matter of McCoy versus Adams.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. McCoy, the defendant was your girlfriend, according to your complaint, and she had a business, a cleaning business. Is your claim that she owes you money for wages because you worked for the company and weren't paid? And in addition, when the two of you were no longer boyfriend and girlfriend, she had some property of yours that you want returned. So let's start off with the easy things first. Did you and Miss Adams live together?
Yes, we did, correct.
From when to when?
From approximately somewhere in 2015 or 14 until January of this year.
Of 2019?
Correct.
You lived in her place or she lived in yours?
I lived in her place.
Was it a home or an apartment?
Apartment.
Were you on the lease or not?
I was not.
Did you pay rent or not?
Yes.
How much rent?
At one time she said...
Let's start with in 2018.
In 18 I was paying $600 a month. That was the agreement, verbally.
And were you paying the $600 a month to her or to the landlord?
To her.
Did you know how much the rent was?
$3,000.
$3,000 a month?
Yes.
And your contribution was $600?
It was 4 other people there also paying the same.
Paying $600?
Should have been, yes.
Or paid whatever they were paying?
Yes.
Okay. And she had a cleaning business. When did you start to work in her cleaning business?
We started that together.
When?
We started that together 2 years ago in January or February, approximately about 2017.
Okay. And what were you doing before that?
I'm permanently disabled, Your Honor. I have my documents here. Prior to that, I was in maritime, yes.
When did you become permanently disabled?
In 2013.
And how much do you get a month from disability?
The total I'm going to quote you now is different from when we was together. Totally now I get $1,735 a month with widower benefits. My wife died.
And what did you get when you were living together?
$1,414 a month.
How long have you been on disability?
Since 2013.
Miss Adams, what kind of cleaning business do you have?
I'm a subcontractor.
What does that mean?
I have my own little personal business where I do little jobs, clean offices.
You clean offices. You provide
Yes.
people to clean offices. How many people do you have working for your business?
No one, just myself.
And that's physical labor.
Yes.
Give me an idea of what you do to do your job.
We clean offices, carpets, desk, empty garbage cans, mirrors, etc. And, Your Honor, the business I started was in 2018, not 2017.
Okay. Mr. McCoy says that he worked for you to the tune of 12 weeks of wages at $1,800. I'm curious, Mr. McCoy, and my curiosity is this. Her business was cleaning, which is a physical business. What's the nature of your disability?
My disability, I have stents in my heart and in my leg. I'm on 12 different medications.
Just a second. So you can clean offices and houses. I'm asking you the question.
Yes.
So you can clean offices and houses. That's what I'm asking you. The answer is either yes or no.
Yes, it's light duty.
cleaning offices. Well, I never considered cleaning light duty. You can clean offices and houses, is what I asked you. That's what I'm asking you. The answer is either yes, I can clean offices, and I did for at least 12 weeks.
I did from the day one that she started the business, and she came home with the first contract. She can't drive at night either, and I was driving her. She can't see at night.
Just a sec. You didn't say this was for driving, sir. You said this was for work you did for her in her business, not driving her. You cleaned for her, with her.
Yes, side by side.
So the
answer
is
correctly, yes.
I'm asking you a question. The answer is you can clean houses and offices. You're able to do that.
Yes.
Now, I'm also going to ask you this, Mr. McCoy. Ms. McAdams has a counterclaim. Her counterclaim is that at some point you filed a claim with the California Labor Board that she hadn't paid you wages. I'd like to know in the month and year you filed a claim with the California Labor Board that she didn't pay you wages. Month and year.
June of 2018 was my 60th birthday. She did not pay me for May because she kicked me out the house and we broke up. We got back together previously.
Just a second. I ask questions, you give me answers.
Okay.
You filed a claim against her in June of 2018 because she kicked you out and she hadn't paid you for May.
That's correct.
At that time, how much did you sue her for? She has the papers.
I sued her for $22,520. That's my wages plus the $100 a day times 30 days. That's allowed by California law, yes.
Just a second. In addition to getting your total disability of $1,414, you sued for wages for 1 month of $2,552.
It's not just 1 month. It's over time. She owes me for previous months also.
What you said was you filed in June because she threw you out and she hadn't paid you for May. That's on the tape.
Yes.
Now, what happened with that case?
I dismissed it because Ms. Adams said that we've been going through this for 4 years. We need to get married and straighten everything out. I bought her a ring on February 1st of this year, the same day she threw me out, and started taking up with one of the guys that's on our route. She told me to dismiss the claim, so that was her retaliation to get rid of me and bias and prejudice, and I have everything here. I gave her the ring. She said yes. Here is the facts from June when I called her company and faxed them that I wanted my money. Here's the facts. I have all the evidence. Here's my last check. Here's the note she wrote that this month she made $1,400. We were supposed to split a verbal agreement, and she only gives me $300. So, yes, I'm a little upset. I apologize. But I tried to take the orders correctly. I knocked on her door. Her son started to jump on me.
Mr. McCoy, let's you and I go back a little bit, sir.
Yes.
In what year did you initially apply for Social Security disability?
It took me after Kaiser botched the surgery in February.
Don't think out loud. I don't want you to think out loud.
2013.
You got started to get it in 2013. I asked you when you first applied for
March of 2013. And I started getting it in September, yes.
Without issue.
Without issue, yes.
Just a second.
Yes.
Without issue.
Without issue.
And that was for a total disability.
Permanently, yes.
Permanent total disability.
Correct.
Now, you know a lot about rules, right?
Yes.
$100 a day, 30 days, you know all the rules.
Yes.
How much are you allowed to make if you receive total disability from the federal government under Social Security?
$1,385 a month. This year they went up
Just
$10.
a second. $1,385
a month.
Per month.
Yes. Anything over $800 I have to report.
Your statement is, Mr. McCoy, that for 12 weeks she owed you $1,800.
That's correct.
And for how many years had she been paying you? You say you started that business with her together. How many years had she been paying you?
She would pay me what she wanted to give me, but it was nowhere near nothing like that. Nowhere. Some months she might give me 100. Some months she might give me 200. 1 month she might even give me 50 or say I'm keeping it all.
I got it. I've had just about enough. Do you owe him any wages?
No, I have my receipts.
Go ahead. The answer is no.
Okay.
You have your timesheets?
Yes.
I'd like to
I
see
have
them.
the originals as well.
I'd like to see them.
This.
Miss Adams, how much rent did Mr. McCoy pay?
How much rent?
Rent.
He claimed that he only got rent, $300 to $400, if that. For some reason, he never had all of his rent.
I don't know what these are. This doesn't have anybody's name on it.
Oh, you need the receipts. Here are you. Sorry.
Gas, supplies.
Those are the original receipts.
For what?
Here's what he was paid also in the cashier's check. I only gave him 2. The rest he was paid in cash. And the reason he wanted to be paid in cash is because he didn't want to report it to the IRS. And I told him he was going to get a 1099 from me because he made over $1,000.
You just signed these.
Yes, he gets the same copy. So what he does with his, I do not know.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I never got a copy. Only 2 copies I have is the cashier checks. I never got a copy.
He begged me to give him those cashier's checks because normally I paid him in cash because he thought I wasn't going to report it.
Return that to her. Mr. McCoy, what property do you claim that you have in Miss Adams' home?
The jewelry that I bought her, I want back. All the jewelry.
Just. What jewelry did you buy her?
I bought her a necklace that has...
She's not giving you jewelry back.
It was a gift.
Shh.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I don't need any help. Those gifts.
Fine.
What else?
That's it.
That's it. Very good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She went with me when I signed off on the labor board.
If you're suing her for back wages, why would she go with you?
She made sure that I did it.
Oh, Mr. Price, something wrong with you.
And later today,
When did the phone break?
I got an email from Kevin on December 30th stating that it was broken. And so I'm assuming it was after our fight because I know it wasn't broken when I handed it over.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
James McCoy says ex-girlfriend Kathleen Adams owes for wages and the return of his belongings. Kathleen is countersuing for lost wages and for filing a false claim with the Labor Board.
Now, Miss Adams,
Yes.
your counterclaim is a simple one. Counterclaim said that you prepared, took a day off, got all your things together for this Labor Board claim last June that he filed, and then he went and dismissed it. Could you tell me what conversations took place with him prior to your going to the Labor Board last June?
Always. I will drop it if we get back together. This is the 3rd time he's suing me, and I've had enough.
Good. Then don't hire him?
Yes. I've had enough.
Perfect. What do you want?
She went with me when I signed off on the labor board. She was with me. I drove her, and we had lunch afterwards. She went with me.
Just a second. If you're suing her for back wages, why would she go with you?
She did go with me.
Shh. I'm asking you a question.
She made sure that I did it.
Oh, Mr. Price, something wrong with you. You're suing her, and she made sure you filed a suit against her business for back wages?
No. She made sure that I dismissed it.
Oh, we're not talking about dismissing it.
Okay.
Dismissing it, I know. Your claim is dismissed, sir. All of it. Don't take them back.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Justice was served today.
I was supposed to have been ride or die, so I died.
I will never be back with him, ever.
I'm okay. I'm at peace now. I got clarity. That's it.
It's not funny. Can she please give me back the keys?
Playtime could have been deadly.
She started it?
It hit the tree and half of the car was in the pond.
Now kids play the blame game.
She drove the car to the pond. The cops came and she blamed everything on me. That is not true.
I'm just trying to...
No. You weren't there. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Danny Williams is suing his neighbor, Mary Jackson, for damage to his car after her 14-year-old daughter backed it into a pond.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 480 on the count in the matter. Williams versus Jackson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
I need the 2 girls who were in the car. No, you can stay.
Oh, I can stay? Okay.
Mr. Williams, it is your claim that the defendant's daughter was responsible for your car being totaled because it was driven into a pond near your property. The defendant said her daughter wasn't driving the car. It was your daughter who was driving the car. And they're friends, or were. Still friends?
No, ma'am.
Were friends.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, according to what I read in your complaint, you had been mowing the lawn at your house.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you left, and 2 girls at home. What's your first name?
Michaela.
And yours?
Adriana.
How long have you been friends?
About 4 years.
And was this day a school day or a weekend?
A weekend.
Were you spending the weekend together?
Yes, she was supposed to be staying at my house.
Okay. Now, Michaela, there came a time when your father called you.
He did not. He did not call.
He told you what?
Before he left.
Tell me what he told you.
He told me before I go out and play or anything, could I please put the lawnmower in our barn?
And in order to move the lawnmower, do you need keys?
Yes, ma'am.
Had your father given you the keys?
Yes, he told me they were on the table in the living room.
Why didn't you put the lawnmower away?
I was on my way out to a family get-together, Your Honor, and I had just finished and it was getting late.
So you asked your daughter to do it?
Yes, ma'am.
And on the key ring to the lawnmower, there are other keys?
Yes, ma'am. It was my house key, my car key, my key to my barn, and a couple other keys.
How many cars do you have?
At the time, I had 2. I had just gotten that one, the one that was destroyed.
What car did you take with you to the family gathering?
My truck. I have a truck.
Is there any reason why you took the truck instead of the new car?
The truck... The truck looked better than the car, Your Honor. The car was just mainly for work and home and...
So the truck looked better than the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
To go to the family function?
Yeah.
What kind of car was it?
It was a 94 Buick Century Custom, Your Honor. I had gotten it from a family friend.
You got it from a family friend when?
Prior to the incident, it had been anywhere from 7 to 6 months back. I haven't had it long.
So you had it 6 months?
Yes.
And the family friend's name?
His name is Antoine.
And you paid him in cash for it?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
And how much did you pay Antoine for the car 6 months before the incident?
$1,200.
Okay. So now the lawnmower is in the barn. And the Buick is in the barn?
No, ma'am.
Where was the Buick?
In front of our house.
So now you had accomplished your mission, and you had the keys in your hand?
No, around my neck.
Was it on a lanyard?
Like,
Yes,
And then tell me what happened.
That's when friends had came down.
Which friends?
2 or 3 boys.
And then what happened with the keys to the car?
They asked if we wanted to play basketball. We said yes. We were going up there, and I said I have to.
Going up where?
Up the street, like to Alex's house. And I had said I had to put the keys in the house back on the table. That's when Anna had yanked the keys off my neck, and she had presumed to go around the car and jump into the driver's seat. I told her to stop playing. It's not funny. Can she please give me back the keys? She pursued not to listen and had crunk up the car.
What does that mean? Mean she started it?
Yes, she started the car. And I had asked her, can she please stop playing and turn off the car to give me back the keys? It's not funny. And her brother Gabriel had jumped.
Well, I didn't hear Gabriel's name with this group. Where was Gabriel?
They were coming down with her, kind of the same age as her brother Aaron.
So Gabriel is older?
No, Gabriel is, I think, kindergarten or 1st grade.
So a little brother. Mm-hmm. Well, who was watching him?
Anna was already down there. They had just walked up the street with, I guess, looking for Anna or something.
So when they walked up, she was in the driver's seat of the car?
She was getting into opening the car door, the driver's door, and getting in. That's when Gabriel, I guess, thought we were playing or something and had jumped into the passenger seat. And I said, Gabriel, do not do that. We're not playing. And that's when she had started the car and had put it in reverse, and it was going back. And that's when I tried to tell her to put it in park, to stop it, press the brake, but she was not listening. That's when she had jumped out the window, her and her brother Gabriel, and had ran home.
She jumped out the window of a moving car? Just a second. Put your hand down. She jumped out the window of a moving car that was moving backwards. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
And so if you jump out of the window, you have to jump out head first. You can't jump out feet first. So you jumped out head first. So she jumped out head first of a moving car. And what about Gabriel?
He was jumping right behind her.
How was he jumping?
Like out the window like she was.
Sorry. I'm just trying to...
No. You weren't there.
I understand, but
you understand?
I do got facts about what
you
happened.
Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. I'm just got details about the car because the reason why the window was down. If I had to put the window up.
Just a second.
Okay.
I'm just trying to picture this in my mind. Jumping out of a moving car that's moving backwards, head first.
Can't open it from the inside.
And so they jumped out head first of the moving car, and then...
The car was not going as fast, like really fast. It was like moving back slowly but fast, but not as fast.
And then what happened?
That's when the rear of the car had hit the tree and stopped. That's when I looked back, and them two were running home up the street to their house. And then a couple, like 10 minutes after that, like my mom and them have pulled up coming from the family gathering, and the cops were already there looking at the car.
Oh, right now I have a car hitting a tree.
It hit the tree, and after like...
Don't speak. After it hit the tree, but they were already out of the car when it hit the tree because they jumped out head first. The car hit the tree. Now nobody's in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And then?
That's when they have already gotten home. The cops had showed up, and a couple minutes after the cops showed up, that's when my mom and my stepdad had pulled up and asked what happened, and they were talking to the cops. And
I thought the car ended up in a pond.
No, it hit the tree, and half of the car was in the pond.
But they left before the car hit the tree. Okay, now I'll hear your version.
So, Michaela, she was at her neighbor's house, and she asked my mom if I could sleep over at her house.
We're past that. Now we're out, and the three boys come over.
Okay.
And Gabriel is coming down the road. Let's go.
Me and my brother, we went down the road. We were going to her house. She's the one that got the keys, and she went to the car. She asked me if I wanted to go with her in the car, and I thought it was cool, so I went with her, and she started it. She pushed...
That is not true.
I don't want to hear.
She pressed the gas pedal, and it started rolling back, and she got out the car, and I tried to get out, but the doors and the inside, it doesn't open. So I had to jump out the window with my little brother. And
How did your little brother get in the car?
He got in from the back seat.
So your little brother was in the back seat?
Yes.
And which seat were you in?
I was in the passenger.
How old is your little brother?
6.
Go ahead.
And she was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And she went down the road to ask. There was like my brother and my older brother, and like his friends were like play fighting. And she went down there being dramatic, screaming like, can someone help her, because she drove the car into the pond. That's what she kept on telling everyone down there, and no one would help her. And she went back home, and her parents called the cops, and the cops came, and she blamed everything on me.
I want to know how your little brother got in the back of the car.
I
want to know how your little brother, who's 6, got into the back of the car. Just think about what you're saying to I'm smart. Think about how your little brother got into the back of the car.
He opened up the door of the back of the car.
He opened up the door of this big car, and then he sat down in the back seat. And then he reached over to close the door because the doors were closed.
Yes.
Right. And where did you think you were going with him in the back seat of the car?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
We were just like playing around though. We weren't like really about to drive somewhere. He came to the front and then jumped out the window with me.
He came to the front and jumped out which window?
The driver's seat.
And how did she get out of the car?
She opened it from the outside.
You jumped out the window of the driver's side with your brother. That's what you just told me.
Yes, ma'am.
And she opened the door.
Yes.
Did she open the passenger door?
No.
What door did she open?
The driver.
Impossible. How could she open the driver's door and you jump out the window of the driver door? If she opened the driver door, you could have just gotten out of the driver door.
I know, but she was in front of the door trying to stop the car.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
When you met on a dating app, you weren't looking for chopped liver. You weren't looking for matzo ball soup. You were looking for a date.
Fresh out of a divorce, I was looking for a friend.
You were looking for a friend on a dating app.
Yes, ma'am.
Is provided by Real Cases, Real People, Judge Judy.
13-year-old Michaela Ratley says her neighbor, 14-year-old Adriana Martinez, backed her father's car into a pond.
Okay. How old are you?
13.
And you?
14.
Do you know how you can tell a teenager is lying? How?
I can't keep up with it. What's been...
When their mouths are moving. That's how you know. So I think they're probably both responsible for this business. I don't care whether you agree or not. And you paid allegedly $1,200 for a car, and you're suing Miss Jackson for $4,500. That's a pretty decent margin for a car that you were embarrassed to take to a family gathering. Do you understand? So if you paid $1,200 for a car 6 months ago, maybe it's worth $1,000 now. And if it's worth $1,000 now, and if I think that both of these teenagers had something to do with your car getting damaged and wet, then you're each going to be responsible for half. So I'm awarding you $500. Period.
The car.
No.
I had
Listen to me.
Find rides to work.
I don't care.
I had to pay.
I don't care. Use your truck.
We had to share the truck, and she had to schedule for mine, and I had a friend.
Yeah.
I had
Listen to
to
me,
set up
Mr.
an
Williams.
agreement with.
You allegedly paid $1,200 for this 25-year-old car.
Yeah.
I think that your daughter and the defendant's daughter are responsible for this accident. The defendant is going to pay $500 for half the damage to the car.
Oh.
And if you want to buy another 25-year-old car for $1,000, you should do that. That's my judgment. We're finished. Thank you.
Well, Your Honor, I have here proof.
That's my judgment.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Because I know how my daughter was raised, and I know she wouldn't lie to me about that.
I know her daughter. Our daughter was not raised like she's saying how she was raised.
There was obviously a split of liability between the children for the accident.
That little girl and her mom are very disrespectful, and when it happened,
to better supervise their children and not leave keys for children.
When they came out, they were acting all nonchalant, like they didn't know what was happening.
To put things away, because they could always take other keys and do bad stuff.
Oh, my daughter didn't have nothing to do with it.
And I think Judge Judy saw that.
You've gotten into arguments before where he's displayed a
temper.
A hot-headed boyfriend rages.
He tried to knock my phone out of my hand. I heard her yelling for him to please stop. She was crying.
Then a chilling conclusion.
I asked her if she wanted a ride. She said yes.
You don't get out of somebody's car unless you feel threatened.
Miss Corian said Jacob said he was going to kill me.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Corinne Reyes is suing fellow motorist Jacob Couch for vandalizing her car in a fit of road rage.
Order! All rise. This is case 577 on the calendar in the matter of Reyes versus Couch.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
All right, Ms. Bates, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
You were driving in a car with your boyfriend. That was on March 30th of this year. Where had you been earlier that day?
We were coming from his house, and I was on my way home for a therapy appointment.
Had you slept at his house?
No.
How did you get to his house?
He picked me up the morning before. Not the morning before, the morning of.
At your house?
Yes.
Had you had an argument?
No, we were not arguing.
Good. Now, there came a time when your boyfriend, Mr. Couch, got into sort of a road rage incident with the plaintiff. So I want you to tell me your version of how that came about.
Okay. So I was on my way home, and he was driving, and I was in the passenger
I thought
seat.
you were on your way to a therapy appointment. That's what you told me 5 minutes ago.
Well, I was on my way home for my mom to take me to the therapy appointment.
No, what you told me was he picked you up and you were on your way to a therapy appointment. Let's get this straight.
Okay.
Either you're going to look like an idiot, which is, if you want to, I can help you do that. It's my specialty. Or you can live by the credo, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. Do you understand, Miss Bates?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, he picked you up at your house.
Yes.
So there was no reason for you to go back to your house if you were going to a therapy appointment.
Well, the thing is, I'm still a minor, so my mom had to take me. So I was on the way home to go to a therapy appointment.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Where were you living?
I live at my mom's house.
And where was your mom?
At home.
All right, let's go back there again. You live at your mom's house. Your mom had to take you to a therapy appointment. Mr. Couch picked you up, and he was taking you back to your mom's house.
Yes. We hung out for a few hours.
Oh, okay. Let's start there.
Okay.
You think this is going to be easy?
No, ma'am.
Perfect.
Do you prefer ma'am or your honor?
What?
Do you prefer ma'am or your honor?
I prefer your majesty. You can call me your honor. Okay, so Jake picked you up and you were going to hang out for a while together.
Yes.
Where were you going to hang out for a couple of hours together?
We were going to hang out at his house.
Okay. Now, Jake picked you up at your house. And before your therapy appointment, you were going to hang out at Mr. Couch's house, where I assume nobody was home.
I think my maid...
Yep, just a second. Just a second. Otherwise, you would have stayed at our house. Do you understand? I've had teenagers. Do you understand? That's the idea? Okay. What time was your therapy appointment?
Probably around 1 because I was coming home at noon.
And how far is the therapy appointment from your mother's house?
About 20 minutes away.
Just a second. Did you speak to your mother from Jake's house?
Yes.
Did your mother remind you that you had to be home at a certain time?
Yes.
So now I know that you were in sort of a rush to get home, because I couldn't figure out what Jake was doing on the shoulder of a road. Now, I'm going to come to you. Where were you going on the 30th of March?
I was going to my husband's niece's birthday party. She turned 2.
And you had a child in the car?
I had my 9-year-old son with me.
I would like you to describe to me, since now this is your case, what happened on March 30th. Was it about 12 o'clock?
It was 12:42, actually.
Just a second. 12:42?
Yes.
You were in a big rush.
And her house was at least a 40-minute drive. So I was going to the birthday party. I saw in the rearview mirror him pass my husband on the shoulder. He was a little bit further behind me. Eventually, Mr. Couch got behind me on the street. It's a 2-lane road going down. We went down the road probably approximately 1.5 miles with him behind me. I was going approximately 40 to 45 miles an hour. At one point, I slowed down to let a car that had his turn signal on switch over, and he almost hit the back of me. When we got to the stoplight itself, he went into the very left lane. There was a lane in between us that had a car in it. And then there was this lane, the third lane that I was in, 2 cars back. He flipped me off 2 times. I admit I was wrong. I flipped him off back. He got out of the car and started throwing something.
Were you stopped at a light?
Yeah, we were stopped at a very long light.
So he got out of the car?
He got out of the car. He went to the back bumper of his car and started throwing handfuls of something at my car. He threw 2 handfuls before I got out of my car to get a picture of his license plate. As I was getting out, he threw a 3rd handful, and that's when I realized it was change because the significant amount hit me in the face. I went up to take a picture of his license plate. He tried to knock my phone out of my hand. At that time, I don't know if I saw her or heard her first, but I heard her yelling for him to please stop. She was crying. He was still at the back bumper. He leaned into the vehicle and told her to shut the and called her. At that point in time, I walked around him. I looked in the car and I asked her if she was safe, if she was okay. She was crying. She was dressed extremely inappropriate for her age.
What was she wearing?
Have you ever seen Dukes of Hazzard? That little red checkered thing that only covers your breast and the rest is all showing. And she was wearing some shorts that didn't even cover her butt. I asked her if she was okay. She told me that she just wanted to go home. I asked her if she wanted a ride. She said yes. She got out of the car. I'm assuming she popped the trunk. I don't know who did. She went to grab her bag, and she had a makeup case in the back in the trunk.
What kind of bag?
A backpack, a black backpack.
She got the backpack out of the trunk?
Yes, but not the makeup bag. He sped off before, and the trunk lid came down and actually hit me.
Don't say no. She didn't make this up, you idiot. She didn't make the part up that you got into her car.
No, I know that.
No. And she didn't make up the part that you got your bag out of the trunk of the car.
She said I was going to kill her.
I want you to shut up.
Yes, ma'am.
You had to have told Miss Reyes where you lived. That's not a
Yes, I did tell Miss Reyes
where I lived. And she took you home.
Yes.
I don't know whether that was in the direction of her birthday party, but there was a sufficient adult reaction to your situation that she went out of her way to take you home. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. And you were a willing passenger
Yes.
in her car.
Yes.
Now, if you were a willing passenger in your car, and earlier that morning, you and Jake had hung out at his house, one must assume, if one is older and maturer, that there was something about Jake's conduct that you found unsafe for you to get out of his car and get into a car with a, put your hand down, stranger.
Yes.
Yes. Because otherwise, you lock the door and say, I'm staying with my boyfriend with whom I've just been hanging out because he's going to take me home. You don't get out of somebody's car who you know intimately to get into somebody's car who is a complete stranger unless you feel threatened.
Your Honor, I felt threatened because Miss Corianne...
But you felt threatened by... Now, you're going to tell me you feel threatened by her? Just a second. Just make very clear, because whatever you're going to say, I really have to tell you, we're all much smarter than you are. I know you think you're smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're all much smarter than you are.
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. Now, you got out of the car and went in the car with a stranger because...
Because Miss Corianne came to my side of the door and said Jacob said he was going to kill me. Even though I had been listening into the conversation, I just felt that was the best way to defuse the situation.
So you mean the stranger nut came up to you and said to you, this guy said he's going to kill you, you better get out of the car. And you believed this stranger who had been acting inappropriately, right? She was acting inappropriately.
Yes.
That's what she was acting inappropriately, so that you got out of your boyfriend, uncross your arms. You got out of your boyfriend's car into the woman's car who was acting inappropriately, and she told you that your boyfriend was going to kill you.
Yes.
I love it. My only question to you, you're stopped at a red light. When you're stopped at the red light, what does your boyfriend do?
She approaches the car.
She got out of the car first.
Yes. She approached his car and he exited the car.
So then he got out of the car.
Yes. And she started talking first. She said, I'm gonna beat your... I'm gonna punch you, and I heard all of this. And he said...
So she was acting irrationally?
Yes.
The woman who you asked to take you home?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I didn't ask her. I didn't ask her.
You think you're a very smart girl. You're not a good liar, because if you felt threatened by this lady, you're smart enough to hang out with Jake. You're not smart enough not to get into a car with somebody who is irrational, threatening. Is that what you're talking? And give her your address? See how silly it sounds? Does it sound silly? Did it sound this silly when you were rehearsing the story with the two of you? No. I know, because you said, I'm going to say it to her, and she's as stupid as the other adults I know.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I was seeking asylum in a stressful situation from a mother, even though she was...
So you were seeking asylum in a car with a 9-year-old?
Because I thought, okay, if she's a 9-year-old, not much can happen.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Corinne Reyes says fellow motorist Jacob Couch threw loose change at her car during a fit of road rage. Jacob is countersuing for harassment.
Okay, so she got out of the car first. She left her 9-year-old in the car, got out of her car first, approached the car and was shouting all kinds of obscenities and threatening Jake. And then what happened?
Jake got out of the car. I was already extremely stressed out with the situation, and I saw she had a...
What stressed out with what situation? The only situation you were stressed out with, it was 12:42, and you had a 1 o'clock therapy appointment, and the therapist was 40 minutes or 20 minutes away from your mother's house, and your mother had called you at Jake's house and said, you better get your behind home because we have a therapy appointment that I have to pay for whether I go or not. So you better get yourself home. Continue.
Okay, so when I looked back at the car, I wasn't completely out yet, and I saw she had her child. So I was seeking asylum in a stressful situation from a mother, even though she was...
Let's go this slowly. So you were seeking asylum in a car with a 9-year-old?
Mm-hmm. Because I thought, okay, if she has a 9-year-old, not much can happen. There's another witness.
At what point did you go and get your backpack? No, because right now you were making an instantaneous judgment. Gee, I have to get away from this stressful situation. Hold on. I need my makeup and my backpack, which is in the trunk of the car.
Actually, Jacob pointed out that I left my bags in the car, and...
Just a second. Jacob said, oh, darling, you left your bags in the car. Why don't you let me help you get them?
No, he opened the trunk. And then I reached for my backpack.
Just a second. Didn't he say to you, where are you going, sweetheart? We've just been hanging out?
No, because he was already stressed out and he didn't want to deal with the situation.
Okay, so let me see. We have somebody that's driving down the road and they're going to a birthday party with her 9-year-old. You're driving down the same road with your boyfriend, late for an appointment. Your mother is furious with you at this point because you were supposed to be home much earlier and you weren't. Jake gets behind somebody who's going a little too slowly. And you're a little hysterical in the car because all of this is costing you time and your mother is going to kill you. Who do you think I believe was rushing and stressed? What do you think I believe is has nothing to do with age. It has just to do with common sense. Somebody's got a 9-year-old going to a birthday party. Somebody is an hour late for a medical appointment. Mother waiting behind a slow car. Who do you think I'm going to believe?
I think you're going to believe the mother.
You're right. You know why? Makes sense. Makes sense that he got out of the car first. Because that's what stupid people do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You don't think your mother told the plaintiff anything about Jake?
She might have.
What do you think she might have said about Jake?
I think she might have said, okay, yeah, he has a temperament.
Not a temperament, a temper. Why would you think that your mother might say Jake has a temper?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Corinne Reyes says, fellow motorist Jacob Couch damaged her car when he threw loose change at her during a fit of road rage.
Can I see pictures of your car?
And there's some of the street in there, too.
What is this a picture of?
That is my windshield. When he threw the chain, it caused like 3 big chips and then probably about 15 little tiny chips.
Did you get a police report?
I did. And there's the officer's contact information and everything also.
Did you ever see the police report, Mr. Couch?
Yes, ma'am. They came to my house first.
You have a copy of your police report?
I do. Thank you.
What do you think your mother said about him?
About Jacob? She talked to me immediately after the situation and said it sounded off.
It sounded what?
Off. She said that her story didn't sound correct.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think your mother told the plaintiff anything about Jake?
She might have.
She might have. And if she might have, what do you think she might have said about Jake?
I think she might have said, okay, yeah, he has a temperament.
Yes, he might have said, not a temperament, a temper. Not a temperament.
Temper.
Yes, she might have. Do you remember that?
No, I went in the house and I got changed for my appointment.
So then you must have had conversations with your mother. I mean, you could say a lot of things. He's generous, he's kind, he's nurturing, he says all those things. Why would you think that your mother might say Jake has a temper?
Because the situation escalated.
Not this situation, before this situation. Why would you think your mother might say Jake has a temper?
Because we've gotten in arguments before, as every couple has.
Right. You've gotten into arguments before with Jake where he's displayed a
temper.
Right. Did you speak to the police, Mr. Couch?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you admit to the police that you threw coins at her car?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not at all
Just a
denying
second.
that.
Did you admit that you...
Yeah, I'm not at all denying that.
I'm not finished. And you admitted to the police causing damage to her car.
No, that I did not admit to.
Do you have text from him with regard to that?
Yes, where he laughs and says, I might have caused that one. And then he offers me $20 for my vehicle.
I didn't offer $20. I offered to buy her a paint filler, which is a OEM. It's from the factory. You can buy it and just like a paint marker, just wipe it over. It looks exactly the same.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you have a counterclaim, sir. Your counterclaim is because she posted something on Facebook. You said it was harassment. You want to show me what it is that she posted on Facebook?
I don't have a picture of the post, but the police had talked to
No. You can't tell me what the police said. I need a picture of the post. If you're calling it harassment, you have to show me what the harassment was. You didn't hear it.
It got deleted off of Facebook. I tried to email Facebook for it, but they can't get it.
Very good. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. We're finished. Thank you very much. The counterclaim's dismissed. They're over.
Please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I threw 5 coins. It didn't cause that damage. I did not throw enough coins to cause all that damage.
I mean, I was upset, but it's Sacramento. It happens all the time.
She got in the car because she lied and said I was going to kill her. I didn't do that.
I don't know why, if someone would ever say that, you would trust them enough to get in a car with them.
I had no chance to explain. This wasn't fair to me.
I think both of them have some issues that they need to work out, and hopefully they get the help that they need.
My mother knows him. Stop.
You know, honestly, she was crying and covered in bruises, and I felt so bad for her.
Can you stop?
They're gonna make me look horrible on TV.
And the second she actually got out of the car, I saw what she was wearing, I felt like I was making a mistake.
Well, she did say in the car that she was going to make money off of this situation.
He doesn't even have a job. I don't know what I could have really got out of him.
I think she saw this as an opportunity for insurance.
It is what it is, but
to get money out of this.
Road rage is crazy.
They can evict you because they don't like the color of your hair.
I agree with what you're saying.
They were no longer welcome.
They considered you annoying tenants.
It was unnecessary eviction.
There's no such animal.
Okay, fair.
And there's nothing they can do about it.
They could terminate.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Epstein and Mr. Deal, you rented a property that is owned by the defendants. You rented that property for a term of 1 year. You are suing the defendants for several things. One, for maliciously evicting you, and the second is for the return of your security deposit. The defendants have a counterclaim primarily for the cost of the attorney that they paid for having to evict you. Okay, so let's start. What kind of property were you renting from Mr. and Mrs. Chris?
We were renting a home in Ventura, California. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
For how much?
$3,600. $3,500.
And this is a rental property
Yes,
of
ma'am.
theirs. Okay, so you know what that means. That means a landlord has property that is income-producing property. So they rented it to you for the term of a year, and they want to continue to rent it, I assume. You're continuing to rent it? Not anymore. Did you move back into the property?
Actually, we put the property up for sale, and then we didn't sell it, and we have great tenants now.
What I'm asking you is, I want you to pay attention to my question. My question was, do you continue to rent it?
Yes.
Because it's rental property. And that means that if they have a tenant that's a wonderful tenant, they would want to, if the tenant wished to extend the term of their lease, they would be more than happy to extend the term of the lease because they didn't move back into the property. They didn't have their daughter, their son, their 9 grandchildren move back into the property. It's income-producing property. You rented a house for a year. Prior to the expiration of your lease, you were served with a notice from them that they did not intend to extend the term of your lease. That be a fair statement?
Yes.
Yes. How much in advance of the termination of your lease?
Being clear specifically of that they choose not to extend the lease. I just want to be clear.
Clear?
Yeah.
When did they send you a notice that they didn't intend to extend your lease?
October is the first time, right? Or was it February the first
There
time?
was a 60-day notice, and there was...
No, the first time that
The first time was in February from a lawyer that they hired.
Yeah.
Does somebody have a copy of the lease?
Yeah, right here.
I'd like to see it. Okay, the lease began on 12/15/2016, and it was a 12-month lease that terminated on 12/14/2017. You were evicted on what date?
The 15th of December of 2017.
You were evicted the day after your lease was up.
Correct.
So you had no right to be there anymore. When did you finally move out?
The court papers stated the 28th.
No, I didn't ask.
The final
I
date?
said
28th
when
of February of 2018.
you moved out.
Yes.
To 28/2018.
Yes.
So you stayed on 2.5 months beyond the term of your lease.
Was it 2? Yeah, 2.5 months.
2.5 months beyond the term
Yes,
of
ma'am.
your lease. Now, can you look here and show me anywhere in the lease where they are obligated to renew your lease? Show me where someone is obligated to rent you their property.
There is no such...
Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Well, of course not. They could terminate your lease
At
when the
any
lease
time.
was over by operation of law.
That's right.
So you don't have to agree with me. I know I'm right. I'm always right. That's why I'm here. By operation of law, your lease terminated on the 15th at 01 a.m. That's when your lease. That's when you should have been gone. You weren't gone, and they had to evict you, and you seem to think that they are under some obligation to continue and renew your lease even on a month-to-month basis. They are not. They can evict you because they don't like the color of your hair, because your clothes are too flashy. They can evict you for any reason that they want if you overstay the terms of your lease. They are under no obligation to rent you their property. They're on obligation to comply with the terms of this lease.
That's correct.
Which terminates on, according to your lease, February 14th, 2017. So where do you get a lawsuit for malicious eviction?
Okay, so
I'm just asking you, where do you get a lawsuit for your claim of malicious
it was
eviction?
unnecessary eviction.
There's no such animal.
Okay, fair. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying to be true. Let me have Larry speak to this.
I'll speak. We were fully intending to move out by the 14th of December. I had multiple houses lined up.
Including signing the lease on the 5th of December.
On the 5th of December, the Thomas fire broke out and burned. It broke out on the 4th, but most of the damage was on the 5th, 6th. Burned 700 houses in Ventura, including most of the backyard of the house we were renting.
Including the
Just
rental
a second.
house.
Could you tell me why you weren't out on the 14th pursuant to the terms of your lease?
Couldn't find a place to live.
Because the place I had lined up burned.
Well, then this is my answer to you, Mr. Deal. The reason that they weren't renewing your lease, and they told you they weren't renewing your lease, is because they considered you annoying tenants. That's why when I said at the beginning, when you have a rental property and you have it for income, that's what you want. You want a good tenant to be in there, pay your rent. Finished. They didn't want to continue to rent to you because they had problems with you. I don't even have to get into those problems. As I said, they may not like orange, and they weren't going to rent to you again. That's not malicious. That's their right. That's their property. Property they bought. They rented to you. You paid rent. They had a contract. They abided by the terms of the contract by taking your rent. You abided by the terms of your contract.
They did not abide by the terms of the contract. Actually, that's one of the reasons why we're here.
No. You're only here for 2 reasons.
That's right.
You're here for failure to return security deposit and punitive damages for malicious eviction. That's why you're here.
Right.
Security deposit.
Right.
Okay. How much did you pay as security deposit?
$3,650.
Is there any clause, I assume there usually is, in the event that the landlord has to evict you, you're responsible for costs?
Except we have a judge that overruled that.
But the UD judge awarded no attorney fees to either side.
Oh,
I have
okay.
the paperwork.
Just a second. I'd like to see that.
Okay, here. Here's
So
the
would I.
eviction. Where's the
You mean not the eviction?
I believe it's
Here, it's this
paragraph 20 in the lease.
Yeah, it's that one.
That they're
There it is.
I'd like to see it. If attorney's fees were addressed in another court, I'm not going to address it. Would you show this to the defendant, please? Mr. and Mrs. Chris, the judge that heard your eviction entertained an application by your attorney for attorney's fees and awarded you nothing.
The attorney fees were paid through the security deposit, as stated in the lease that they were responsible for.
Just a second.
Okay.
How much were the attorney's fees?
$1,390.
Well, even if I were to accept what you say is true, they still have additional security deposits.
Oh, yes. They would have if they hadn't damaged and destroyed the house and the landscaping.
Did you bring any of that up in the housing court?
In the eviction?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, we weren't aware of that until they vacated the property. We were aware of only the landscaping, which we saw. They never watered in 14 months. But inside, we were not aware of that damage until they finally vacated the property. And I have
On what
pictures.
date? Okay, I'd like to see pictures of the house, on the inside of the house, not the outside.
Not the
inside?
outside?
No.
Okay, just the inside.
Your Honor, there was a fire. Things burned.
There was not a fire inside the house.
Not inside the house. No.
I said I don't want to see pictures of outside. I want to see pictures
I'm
of
going to
inside.
give you the
That's
inside dirt.
fair. I also want to see your attorney's bill.
Here's the inside pictures. And let me see the attorney. Here's the canceled checks for the attorney.
They left a dirty stove and a dirty refrigerator and a dirty toilet. Not a big deal.
Well, there were some missing items from the house, too.
You have to return to them $2,300 for their security deposit. I've deducted the attorney's fees that you paid to get them out.
You didn't see the landscaping?
Did you hear what I said?
$3,000 we spent to restore the landscaping?
$2,300 has to be returned to them. Another question that I have for you. Who paid for this mold test?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay. Did the mold test come back positive or negative?
No, it actually came back negative.
Okay. And how many times did you call the city or whatever township?
One time.
Was that about the mold?
No.
About what?
It was about the water intrusion, the flooding in one of the rooms.
Roof had a hole in it and it leaked.
And is that why you had it mold tested?
Yes.
And it was negative?
Yes.
All right, that's all. $3,600, you get your attorney's fees, $1,350, $2,300.
All
Judgment
the
for the
visits
plaintiff.
to City
We're
Hall,
done.
to building.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Parties are excused and they step out.
They refused to fix something really basic with the roof.
Every week they call building and safety or code enforcement.
They were cited by the city of Ventura multiple times.
Well, they're very good at finding things wrong with the house.
They retaliated against us, and we were evicted.
And actually making things wrong with the house.
We don't have enough time in our day to put energy out into the world like that.
And I think that all the landlords in Ventura should beware. That's all.
Roof was leaking.
2 days after he left.
A storm of controversy over a failed repair.
He gave you a warranty.
He took back his warranty. He won't do anything.
You were looking for a bargain. That's why you got a handyman instead of a roofer.
Was he in over his head?
It goes beyond just doing a bad job. My daughter got hurt. My dog got hurt because of the nails everywhere.
Stick to being a handyman.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Brittany Elzeru is suing contractor 25-year-old Marcelino Zavala for damages to her home, breach of contract, vet bills, and lost wages.
Order. All rise. It's case number 456 on the calendar in the matter of Elzeru versus Zavala.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Elzeru, how long do you own your house?
I rent, but I have been living there for the past 4 years.
Who do you rent from?
My landlords that own the house,
Yes. Who are they?
their name is Lee.
Why would you fix a roof on a house that you rent?
It's a portion of the house that we're building an add-on. Well, it's existing, but this is something that I wanted done for myself personally. And the owner, we have an agreement with them that whatever upgrades I make is for me.
What do you mean you're expanding? What does that mean?
So there's an area by our house that is a room. Can I show you a picture?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In what state do you live?
I live in California, Los Angeles.
What do you pay for this house a month?
I pay $2,300.
How big is the house?
I want to say 1,500 square feet.
Where do the owners live?
They live in Hong Kong.
I'd like to see the agreement that you had with them that allows you to build up on the house. Are you talking about this area here?
That and to your right.
What is it?
It is a carport that was turned into like a guest house. Then,
well, this is a carport.
It was a patio. It's an enclosed patio.
This is
the patio.
A patio that you're making.
No, it was there. It's enclosed.
Was he supposed to do the roof on this?
Yes.
Was he doing the roof on the main house?
No.
Was he doing the roof on this area? So he was doing the roof on things that had nothing to do with the main house.
Well, it overlaps, and when he did it, he damaged part of the roof on the main house. So, yeah, it does connect.
You came out to look at the job, Mr. Zavala?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a roofer by trade?
No, ma'am.
What do you do?
Handyman work.
How did you find him?
I found him on Craigslist as...
I'd like to see the ad. As a handyman or a roofer?
As both.
Well, I'd like to see. Is this the condition of the house as it is now, with that junk in the backyard?
Yes.
Is that the way it was when you rented it 4 years ago?
No, it's actually a lot worse.
I can't imagine it being worse.
Yeah, but...
Well, then why didn't you fix it in the last 4 years if it was a lot worse? It looks like a junkyard.
I understand it might look like a junkyard, but at the same time, I have dogs in my yard, and I have 3 kids. I run an animal rescue, and I have a lot of rescue dogs all of the time, and it's been raining for... how many weeks now?
Would you please make a circle around where it says here that he's a roofer? It says he's a handyman. I'll get to you in a second. Thank you. Okay, he came out, he looked at it. Tell me about your conversation with him. You wanted to put a roof on the addition that you were making.
Yes, there was a roof already. I knew that it was in bad shape, and I wanted to get it replaced. He came out, he did an...
You have photographs of it?
Yeah, I do.
I'd like to see them. Is this the roof that you worked on?
Yes.
And you just roll out sheets?
They are rollout sheets. It's a low slope roofing system. You use it as opposed to shingles when you're doing flat roofs of that nature.
You quoted her $1,900 and change to do the roof on these 2 buildings. Is that what you quoted her?
No, ma'am.
How much did you quote her?
I quoted her just over $1,000 for the labor of the work.
And then he also charged me for all of the materials. So after I paid him everything, it was a little over $1,900.
Did you ever see a bill for the materials?
Yeah.
So he did spend the $967.47 on materials.
Yes.
And he made $1,000. When did he come to do the work?
He came on February 6th. He started to do the work on the roof.
And how long did he work?
He was there for 3 days.
Left on February 9th or 10th?
9th.
And when did you notice that part of the roof was leaking?
It was, I want to say, 2 days after he left.
May I see where it was leaking? By the way, before he started the work or right after he started the work, did you have any conversation with him about the condition of the roof? He with you, after he started to remove the old roof?
So before he started, when he came out and he did the inspection, he gave me the estimate the next day. And then I asked him about a warranty, and he told me there would be a 5-year workmanship warranty. And then when he started the job, I want to say on the 2nd day, he was removing the roof that was on there already. And when he was removing it, his tools was like going through plywood that is the roof. He said it needed to be replaced, so he went and he replaced the section that was bad.
At no extra cost?
No, he charged me the
How much did he charge you? I'm not talking about materials. If he had to replace rotted roof that you couldn't tell was rotted, he showed you where the roof was rotted?
Yes.
Because you're a smart girl. And so you told him to replace it. He went out, he got the materials, and he replaced it at no additional charge to you.
No.
That was very nice of him.
Well,
because that
not
wasn't
really.
the original. Why? That wasn't the original job. The original job was that he was supposed to make $300 a day for removing an old roof and putting on new tar top roof. And when he removed the old roof, he found that the wood was rotted, that he couldn't have seen when he was doing the inspection. You can't see that the wood is rotted underneath when you're doing the inspection until you remove.
Well,
I'm speaking. You can't see that the wood is rotted until you remove it.
No, you can. You can see the wood from inside of the building, the section, and he went inside and looked. So to say that he didn't know, that's when he did the inspection.
Just a second. Well, did you tell him you're going to need new wood because it's rotted?
No.
Did you tell him that? I mean, if you could see it and you could see that the wood was rotting, why didn't you say, look, you see that wood is rotting, it's going to have to be taken out, you're going to have to replace it? Did you point it out to him? Question, did you point it out to him? The answer is no.
No.
So the only time we know that he saw the rotted roof is when he took up the old paper and he saw it from looking down.
No.
When he came out to give you the estimate and when he gave you the receipt for the materials, it only contained materials for the new roof, $967, new roof paper. Is that correct?
No.
What did it contain?
It contained the wood.
Really? So he replaced the wood that you say he discovered the second day he was out there?
Yes.
Did you buy the tar paper and the wood at the same time?
No, ma'am. That wood rot was not expected, and the expenses, I didn't even quote it in the estimate because I had no knowledge of it.
I can show you pictures of his receipts where he bought the wood and the other tar and stuff at the same time.
I'd like to see it.
Can I see my phone?
We started working, according to you, on February 6th?
Correct.
Removing the paper. On the 7th, which is the day after he started work, which is the date on this receipt, February 7th. So he removed the old stuff. The next day, when he removed the old stuff, and he showed you the wood that day. So we went and bought wood the next day, not February 6th.
It was the 7th.
And the total for this was $426. On the 6th, he bought roofing materials. This was $81. And he bought more stuff on the 8th for $237. It's according to the receipts that are in your phone. Is that right?
Yeah.
When you did this roof for her, because clearly she had a leak, where was the leak?
The leak was on the supposed add-on, the second section that you asked about, that looked like it had walls.
So it was in the addition.
Exactly.
I'd like to see the damage in the addition.
Do you want to see pictures of the roof and the yard with the nails?
No.
I had to have it dried out as well because the furniture got wet. I have the copy of the invoice for that and the bank statement.
He's not paying for that. He gave you a warranty on his work for 5 years.
And then he revoked it. He didn't come back. He ignored my calls.
He gave you a warranty.
On what? But he won't. He took back his warranty. He won't
listen.
do anything.
He's not paying you $10,000.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There's no way you can make a flat roofing system work if it's in the shape of a bowl.
That's your fault. There's no way that you can make a roofing system work. You shouldn't have taken the job. You can't say, I'll take the job knowing that you can't do the job.
And later today,
What else did you do for him? You did plumbing one Saturday. What else did you do for him?
It helped with cleaning the condo from time to time.
Who cares? You were living there rent-free.
Real people. Judge Judy.
Brittany Elzeroot says contractor Marcelino Zavala owes for damages resulting from a roofing job on her home.
Now, you paid him $1,000 for his work. The rest was all materials. He warrantied that work. He says you would give her a 5-year warranty.
Correct.
Well, clearly your work was not satisfactory because she had leaks in her this addition where you put on the roof. That's what I'm seeing in the photographs.
Incorrect.
Go ahead.
The leaks are a result of other factors surrounding that add-on because it's not up to standard. There's no way you can make a flat roofing system work if it's in the shape of a bowl. The wood is so dilapidated in that structure that...
Mr. Zavala, that's your fault. Just a second. That's your fault, sir. There's no way that you can make a roofing system work. You shouldn't have taken the job. You should say, I can't make a roofing system work here. You can't say, I'll take the job knowing that you can't do the job.
I could not know that I couldn't do the job if I can't see the underlayment under the roofing material.
Then what you should not do is do roofing if you're not licensed and insured to do roofing. If you're a handyman, stick to being a handyman.
She was aware of the...
Don't tell me what she was aware of. You can't tell me what's in the back of her head. But you knew you were looking for a bargain. That's why you got a handyman instead of a roofer. You gave her a warranty, sir. It didn't work.
Correct.
You owe her the money that she paid you.
Incorrect.
Incorrect, correct me. You owe her $1,000. You have the roofing material and you have the wood. I don't know who you're going to get to fix this roof. Hire a roofer?
I know, but not only that, though, but I have damages. My daughter got hurt. My dog got hurt because of his neglect and the nails everywhere.
That's what you get when you look for a bargain. If you look for a bargain and you don't think, sometimes you get hurt. He's not going to pay for your dog's vet bill because it walked on a nail.
Why? That's pure neglect.
Okay.
To throw nails? You want to see all the nails that are on my floor? This isn't even funny.
I'm not laughing at you, madam. I'm not laughing at you.
But you think it's okay for someone to do work and leave nails all over around children and animals?
Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Everything is flooded. I had to move a bunch of animals.
The structure in and of itself, it was just terrible.
There was nails all over the floor.
The place was in a disarray, and I did a fairly good job cleaning up.
Just to make sure that they're licensed and insured.
Things happen, and it is what it is, you know.
This was a terrible room. You got out.
A vacation interrupted by a bad rental.
She was supposed to give us a certain amount of money back. She retained $891.50.
That is not true. I did not retain. Don't talk to anybody else.
Interruptions are a no-no.
I didn't understand when I could interject.
Never. Do you take something?
Craig Weinstein is suing Ellen Schneiderman for the return of money he paid for a Beverly Hills vacation rental.
Order. All rise. Case number 361 on the calendar, the matter of Weinstein versus Schneiderman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Weinstein, you and your wife were traveling cross-country and saw an ad for a cottage that you rented. Based upon the ad that you saw, the cottage belongs to the defendant.
That's correct, Your
When
Honor.
you got there, according to your complaint, it was not what was represented in the ad. You had rented the cottage for 5 nights?
6 nights, Your
Six
Honor.
nights. You and your wife stayed there for 1 night.
That's correct.
And then you moved out and found other accommodations, I assume at a greater expense.
That's correct. We were scrambling.
And you want a refund of the 5 nights that you did not spend there.
That's correct.
If that's what you want.
It's actually more than that, Your Honor.
You want more than that?
Well, we want the entire 6 nights refunded because Ms. Schneiderman breached our settlement agreement. She was supposed to give us a certain amount of money back, and she shorted us. So since she breached the settlement agreement, we're looking for the entire 6 nights.
Okay. From here, you're going to get 5 nights if I find that she misrepresented the ad.
He already has received. Oh, okay.
I'm not ready for you.
Sorry.
So, first tell me how much you paid for these 6 nights.
We paid $2,244.
$2,244.
That's correct.
Am I allowed to talk now? Oh.
No, when I ask you a question, you talk.
Okay.
Unless the figure he gave me is wrong.
Well, that includes a refundable security deposit.
Just a second. Yeah, well, I asked is that what he paid you? $2,244. What she interjected is going to affect my math, and math is not my strong suit. How much was the security deposit?
$600, Your Honor.
Did you get that back?
Yes, I did.
Fine. 4, 6, 1644. So we are talking about 1644. That's going to tell me how much it was per night, or $274 per night.
It was actually not that because there was a $65 cleaning fee and a $139 service fee. It was $240 a night for the room.
Okay. How much did you give him back?
Airbnb, our VRBO refunded him through me $752.50.
Okay.
Plus his
security deposit.
Plus his security deposit, and then I had to pay a fee to the agency.
That's correct.
So all I retained of all of that even though I couldn't rebook the room at this point. He was canceled.
I don't care.
All I was able to retain was $291.50.
I don't care about your fee.
Okay.
Without the fees, how much money did you retain?
I retained, it looks here, this is the printout.
If I might, she retained $891.50, which is what I paid for one night's.
That is not true. I did not retain $800.
Don't talk to anybody else.
I did not retain that amount.
Stop.
Oh, sorry.
Judge.
Listen to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If what you do is interrupt, I'm just going to give him what he wants and throw you out. Do you understand?
Yes, I was confused when I can talk.
Chill.
2244 minus 1352.50 is $891.50. That's what I paid.
$892, and the room.
$891.50. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
The room per night was $240. So $892
plus the cleaning fee. Plus the cleaning fee.
I don't care about a cleaning fee. I'm going to look at the pictures to see whether he's going to get this money.
Yes.
And I'm
that
going to
was
see. I'm talking
Oh, sorry.
2.5, which is $652. That's less one night stay. $652. Stay there one night. Now I'd like to see the advertisement that you answered.
I have.
Just show me the advertisement that you answered.
Pretty nice house.
It looks lovely.
5.88 million. Appraised value. I'm sorry.
I understand that you're upset, but you didn't go there and have a heart attack and end up in Cedars. Nothing bad happened to you. You went there. It was a terrible room. You got out. You went to Pacific Palisades. You rented a nice room with your wife, and you had another 5 days there. And it was lousy. It's like going to a hotel in the Bahamas or the Caribbean, and all the plumbing is out for the first night that you get there. Oh my God, it's terrible. All the plumbing is out. You can't use water. You can't flush the toilets or anything else. The next night, everything is fixed. It's back on. You stay. They comp you for a night. They comp you for 2 nights. They do something. We're sorry. It happened. It was an accident. We didn't mean for this pipe to burst. It wasn't. And then you had a nice time. Nobody got an infection. Nobody ended up losing a limb. So, Mr. Weinstein, get over it. This is a very nice house.
I was with my wife, Jim.
This is a very nice... So what?
And I have...
It was a 6-night vacation. We spent the whole second day looking for alternate accommodation.
I don't believe that, though, because I got a text that your wife accidentally...
Schneiderman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
You keep saying you're sorry. You can't control yourself. Are you on some kind of medication that you can't control yourself? No, I'm asking you a serious question. That's a serious question.
No,
you keep saying I'm sorry,
I
and you keep talking.
When I could interject.
When you could never. Not unless I ask you a question.
Okay, I misunderstood the
you've never been in a courtroom before?
No, I haven't.
Never. You've never been, is what you're telling me, you've never been in a courtroom?
I've never
been.
Now you've got a traffic ticket.
Well, that's just...
I'm not a lawyer. I went to law school. I'm not a lawyer.
Whatever you're taking, you're not taking enough.
You told me you're a lawyer.
Weinstein, I'm going to throw you out.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to throw you out because, bottom line, you're out $652. My heart doesn't bleed for you. Do you understand? Okay, now I want to see pictures of what your accommodation looked like. I see what the ad was.
I have pictures of the room.
That's what I want to see. What you're telling me, it was one room?
Yes.
And the entire pool area. And the entire pool area and all the furniture out there.
What kind of... Don't you interject unless I ask you a question. Don't you understand? I'll tell you what I tell my grandchildren. You don't live in the lobby. You live in the apartment. What did you put this up for? What is this a picture of? Show her. I'm going to make a big circle here. What is this a picture of?
I can't see from here. I'm sorry. Oh, those are comparable. I don't know. That's not my home. Oh, that was, I guess, when they purchased the home. That was at one time when it was for sale years ago, what it looked like, but that's not what my home looks like anymore.
I don't care what your home doesn't look like anymore. I want to know what it is that
I never
he saw.
posted this. This is from Zillow. It was when the house was for sale before I ever purchased it.
Did you?
I never put that up on it. I have photos of the room in the house. I never posted that. That's still up.
I want you to stop. Do you take something that makes you hyper?
I'm just naturally hyper. I've never drank caffeine even.
Do you have a copy of the ad that was posted?
I do.
For the property?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I do.
See, I told you I never practiced law. I just went to law school. There's the listing, and here's the photos with the listing.
I want to see the listing.
And the photos were part of the listing.
Okay, great. I want to see it.
And there are photos of bedroom.
Shh. Mr. Weinstein, I want you to look at this, and I want you to tell me whether this is what the courtyard looks like in the guest house.
That is an accurate picture of the courtyard.
And is this an accurate picture of the pool area?
Yes, it is, Judge.
This is the picture that you gave me, is that correct?
That's one of them, yes, Judge.
Right. And this is a photograph of what you gave me, Mr. Weinstein.
That is the bed, yes.
After he removed things. Okay.
Most annoying person. But this, Mr. Weinstein, is a picture of the room because I've compared it to where the nightstand is and I've compared it to where the chest of drawers is. This is a picture of the room. Absolutely.
And Your Honor?
I didn't ask you anything.
That is her picture of the room, yes.
I don't care. That's a photograph. That's not a painting.
That's correct.
That's a photograph of the room. That doesn't look terrible to me. Your picture looks terrible with your luggage and your duffel bag.
It wasn't my duffel bag.
It
was on the floor when we walked in.
Absolutely not true.
I don't travel with a duffel bag.
Absolutely not true.
I came from New Jersey.
That's absolutely not true.
There was a duffel bag in the room. Also, Judge, they
actually deserve each other. And do you know what happens to people that deserve each other?
I know. Yeah. I know.
Last and final warning.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen to me very carefully. I would love to rule against you because you are one of the most annoying people that I've had to deal with all day today.
And later today,
most 19-year-old boys could live inside a closet that contained nothing but dirty socks. Very rarely do they care about whether they have 1 or 2 bathrooms. They can actually go on a tree.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Craig Weinstein says Ellen Schneiderman misrepresented her Beverly Hills vacation rental.
Last and final warning.
Yes.
And then you're gone because I really don't feel sorry for you. I would feel sorry for you if I actually thought you went into a hovel. You did not. And even if there was a duffel bag here, it wouldn't be so terrible. This looks like a lovely room. And it looks like a lovely courtyard. And it looks probably small. For $200 a night in Beverly Hills, that's what you get. You're also getting a pool. I don't feel so sorry for you. She gave you back money. She gave you back a lot of money. I yelled at her. She's annoying. Is this a picture of the bathroom that you got to use?
Oh, I thought you were asking me. I'm sorry.
Is this a picture of the bathroom that was in your room?
Yes, the only bathroom.
I don't care if it's the only bathroom. She said it was the only bathroom in the ad. The ad says that there is one bathroom. The ad says that you can use another bathroom outside that's in the pool area. Put your hand down. That you can use another bathroom, that the person who lives in the main house will not use it during the course of your stay. That's what it says in the ad. I read it. It never said that you had a room with 2 bathrooms. No. Okay, and this was your bathroom.
Yes.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
You don't get any money back. It's very nice that she gave you that much back.
Judge, the picture of the closet that she gave you had a refrigerator in it. The picture of the drawers had pillows and blankets in it. My wife couldn't get out of the bed on her side. She had to come over to my side. The picture that you showed me that Ellen provided, the door was open, so it appears to be bigger. Anyone could take a picture. If you look at the picture...
I have 80 reviews, 5-star reviews.
Listen to me very carefully. I would love to rule against you because you are one of the most annoying people that I've had to deal with all day today. I find it difficult because for $200 at Beverly Hills, I think he got a reasonable accommodation. If he didn't like it, he was returned most of his money. You didn't have enough time to re-rent it for the next 6 nights. And I'm not awarding any money, Mr. Weinstein. We are done. We are finished.
I know, but we had an agreement, Judge. She didn't give me all my money back. At least, what's the idea of having...
That's why you came.
Yeah, but why did we have an agreement? The room was a converted pantry.
He absolutely lied about that.
And my wife said, I can't even stay here one night.
But he also wanted the difference of some hotel he said he stayed in, and yet provided no proof whatsoever of that hotel.
Ironically, she's no longer on the website because I think she's come to her senses.
And I never really did it for the money.
You can't rent out a pantry closet.
I was nice to give him 4 of his 6 nights back.
Your neighbor asked you to move the camera. Why didn't you move it?
A matter of privacy over security.
She never asked me to take the cameras down. She called the police on me first.
She has a right to be annoyed with you, sir.
Then a bright idea came into focus.
What she did was she put in a light.
Manny.
The light interferes with his camera taking pictures.
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
I was trying. I wasn't sure.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Terry Tadia is suing her neighbor, Mark Patus, for trespassing and for invasion of privacy as a result of pointing surveillance cameras into her backyard.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 367 on the calendar in the matter of Tadia versus Patus.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Patus, you and the plaintiff are neighbors.
Yes.
How long have you been neighbors?
26 years, a little over, I believe.
Who do you live with?
My wife and my daughter on occasion.
Now, in what year did you install spotlights around your house?
I did not install spotlights. I installed cameras, video cameras, surveillance cameras.
Okay.
In 2017.
So you installed cameras,
Yes.
not lights?
Not lights, no.
And where did you position them?
I have a picture I'd like to show you.
I'd like to see it.
They're on the front corners of my home. There's quite a few pictures here that Roseville police took.
No, I asked you a simple question.
I'm trying to get the
expect
right
a
ones
simple
for you,
answer.
Your Honor.
Good. Thank you.
I presented that to him.
Yes.
To the court.
Okay. And would you tell me what prompted you in 2017 to install the cameras? Just
Well,
for
my
your
wife
own
and I...
for your own security. Don't tell me about your wife.
It wasn't for our own security. My wife and I kept finding used condoms.
Don't tell me what your wife kept finding.
Okay, well, I kept finding used condoms in my backyard right over her fence. That and it was coming from her youngest daughter, Tara, and her boyfriend. And along with that, he was selling drugs out in front of the house, and that was getting way out of hand.
Did you have a discussion with the plaintiff about that?
I haven't spoke with the plaintiff in years. No, ma'am, I have not.
Did you make a police report about the drug activity in front of the house? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
So you have no police report that you filed, nor do you have any video, I assume, to show me, or any photograph to show me prior to the installation of the cameras as to why you installed them.
Correct, I do not.
But it's within your right to install cameras in your property as long as they do not invade anyone else's property and privacy, ergo this case. Because the plaintiff says that one of the cameras is not directed on your property, but includes her property. And she wants it down or restructured to merely show what is on your property.
I have a couple more pictures I'd like to share with you.
Sure.
This is what my camera shows in my home, all 4 of the pictures, so you can see what it does, specifically hers and what she doesn't like. And then what I think is most...
What I want you to show me, Mr. Patus,
yes,
is with a pen that Officer Bird will provide you if you don't have one of your own. I want you to make a circle around the photographs of her property that your camera can see.
It's in just one... Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Actually, there's 2 of them. I don't have a pen.
2. Okay.
One of them is enlarged, so you get a real good look.
Just make a circle.
This is the enlarged. There you go. Your pen didn't work very well. Thank you. I have one more photo that I'd like you to see, Your Honor.
No, just 1 second.
That's all 4 of them.
This
Yeah.
is her property.
Correct.
This is where one of your other cameras.
Correct.
Okay, but that's also the public street.
Right.
And that's in front of, this would be your house, this would be her house?
Correct.
Okay, I don't find that objectionable at all, actually. This.
Not out.
I don't find that objectionable at all. What?
When I was speaking with his wife, they admitted that.
Don't tell me what they admitted. Just be quiet. Just be quiet.
Can I see that to make sure I do agree? It's in the front of his house.
I do not have any problem with this as invading your privacy. This is potentially, it shows the street, it shows where the cars are, and it shows a piece of your front lawn. Do you want to look at it closer?
Yes. Please. I don't have a problem with this picture. I don't have a problem with this picture.
Right. Those are pictures of the front of the house.
Right.
Somebody was doing something wrong. If there was an accident in the street, that's a good surveillance camera, and it's not necessarily interfering with your property. It's right in the front.
Correct.
Your problem is with the picture of your backyard.
Yes.
Okay? And now your camera, sir,
Yes.
can be positioned in such a way, because this is your house in here, I assume.
To the left. No,
This is your
no,
house.
no, that's her house.
This is her house.
That's her house.
Oh, this is her house.
Yeah. That's
And this
my house.
is your house?
That's my house to the left.
This is your house.
Yes. And if you notice, Your Honor, how you can see the left side of my house on the left, well, if I
Yes.
push the camera all the way towards the house, which she would like, I get an awful glare and you can't see anything on the
That's
camera.
too bad. That would count under the category of too bad.
I would like to share one more photo with you, please.
Sure.
This is outside of my kitchen window.
Sure.
That's the view I get outside of my kitchen window.
That's what you get out of your kitchen window.
Well, I'm not sure how she could claim that her backyard is private and when I can see that out of my kitchen window. I'm simply just trying to...
Your house has been there. You've been neighbors for 26 years. She doesn't want her backyard or her children when they're in the pool or her family and friends. She doesn't want their photographs within your control. And it's a perfectly reasonable request for you to adjust the camera or move the camera so it just takes in your yard. So you can see if somebody's coming into your house, if somebody's skulking up your driveway. It's not an unreasonable request. We're perfectly reasonable people, sir. Even though this takes into consideration part of her front lawn, there's a legitimate purpose in finding out if somebody is being mugged, if somebody is in an automobile accident. It's a surveillance. But you can't surveil someone's backyard. There is a big difference.
Your Honor, I checked with my...
I don't care what you checked with. I don't care who you checked with. I'm telling you, if one of my neighbors had a camera positioned so that it had the view of my pool, and it's true that they could sit in their kitchen window or their bedroom window with glasses and look to see who was in the pool, how I looked in my bathing suit, whether I had cellulite, who I was with. It's true that they could do that. There is a difference, however, of them having a camera and photographing that. It's the same way that you feel invaded when somebody takes a drone picture of your house, hovers around your house with a drone. Now, sometimes if you're a celebrity, you have to get used to things like that because you've made your life an open book. Last time I looked, she wasn't a celebrity. So she has a right to be annoyed with you, sir, for positioning your camera so that you can take pictures of her backyard and her pool. And if you were any sort of reasonable person, if she made that known, you would move it. So you didn't move it. And what she did was she put in a light.
Manny.
Is that what you put in?
Yes, I did put it in.
And the light interferes with the light interferes with his camera taking pictures.
No.
Doesn't?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
I was trying. I
Just a
wasn't
second.
sure.
That's too bad. I mean, you have that as part of a counterclaim, that the light shines into your window and it irritates your wife.
It's the yard. I also have another picture, Your Honor. I have a lot of them. Your Honor, she's been harassing me for like 2 years, and I have evidence, and I'd like to share it with you.
I don't care. Change the camera. Was she harassing you prior to 2017 when you put in the Pay attention to what I said. Was she doing anything to annoy you that I would be interested in prior to you putting in the cameras?
Yes, this has been going...
Just a second. Tell me, prior to putting in the cameras, what she was doing to harass you.
She swears drunk back and forth on her other side of the yard when we're having parties and kids. And
what?
She gets drunk and muddles behind under her breath loud enough for all of us to hear it and cranks the music when we're having kids' parties in our backyard. My witness can...
Yes.
So stuff like that, and it's just constant, Your Honor. She put up a rubber glove holding the finger. This was up all summer long on a broomstick.
Which summer? After?
Last summer.
You mean after she asked you to take down the camera?
She never asked me to take the cameras down. She called the police on me first. And
that you knew?
I have a couple of police reports I'd also like to share with you.
So that you knew she wanted the camera down?
Yes, I did.
So in order to negate the hostility, why didn't you reposition the camera so that it wouldn't be taking photographs of her backyard and her pool area?
I checked with the city manager, and he told me that
Don't tell me what the city manager told you. Your neighbor asked you to move the camera. Why didn't you move it? Your neighbor asked you to move it.
The police told me I didn't have to, and I was not ticketed. I checked with my attorney, and he also said that I did not have to.
You're not following my question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You should move the camera. That's what I think. I think that you're being obstinate. Check with your attorney, check with the city. I don't have to move it, and I don't care what you want. If it makes you uncomfortable, who cares?
And later today...
You were using it as a wedding venue. You took their money.
No.
You took their money.
They asked to have the reception there.
Are you out of your mind? Don't you understand? You have to think before you speak.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Terry Tadia says neighbor Mark Patus is invading her family's privacy by pointing surveillance cameras into her backyard. Mark is countersuing for attorney fees and harassment.
Now, your neighbor asked you to reposition the camera so it was not photographing her backyard and her pool, and you didn't do it. I have neighbors all over the country. If I were doing something that irritated my neighbor, or if one of my kids was doing something that irritated my neighbor, I would try to do my best to deflect that, because everybody is entitled to peacefully enjoy their property, right?
Agreed.
And if she was not permitting you to peacefully enjoy your property because she was creating a disturbance, then once discussed with her, say, listen, I'm having a party here, it's getting too loud over there, could you put it down? Then you file a noise complaint, right?
Yes.
Because then she wasn't doing the right thing. Did you ever do that?
No, Your Honor.
No. So what I'm telling you is, she's right. You should move the camera that's recording what's going on in her backyard. That's what I think. And I don't care about the harassment. I think that you're being obstinate. Check with your attorney, check with the city. I don't have to move it, and I don't care what you want. If it makes you uncomfortable, who cares? I'm telling you, it's not the right thing to do. Front camera, fine. I don't find any objection to that. It encompasses a small piece of her property, but not where she has an expectation of privacy, because it also abuts a public street and a public walkway. So she has no expectation of privacy in the front portion of her yard. But she has an expectation of privacy in the backyard that is fenced, and you're interfering with that. That's what I think. And I don't care what your city manager thinks, and I don't care what the cop that came to your house thinks. She has an expectation of privacy there that you're interfering with, and you should move the camera. And I'm going to award her money until you do. And I'm dismissing your counterclaim. You can come back every month or so, $1,000, judgment for the plaintiff, move the camera, we're done. Thank you.
Pardons are excused. You may step out.
I think it's a very good decision.
I'm glad that there's closure finally.
The assistant prosecutor sent Mark a letter stating for him to move the camera.
I got a very threatening letter from the city prosecutor, yeah.
He don't listen to nobody. That's the type of person he was.
You live next to her.
And now, staying with a friend was supposed to give her a fresh start.
You got arrested when?
2 weeks after I moved in.
It didn't work.
There was a suspicion of an OWI, but no charge.
OWI means what?
Operating while intoxicated.
Have you ever been in a drug program?
No.
Do you need one?
I found drug paraphernalia in the house.
That's not true, Your Honor.
And the arrest was for her 5th DUI.
Apparently, you can't get your act together.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Alyssa Therian is suing her former neighbor, Heather Oates, for stealing her car, transportation costs, and unreturned property.
Order. All rise. Now, it's case number 362 on the calendar in the matter of Therian versus Olfs.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Ms. Therian, how do you know the defendant?
Ms. Olds is a neighbor of mine. She lives across the street from me for about 6 years now.
But there came a time that you moved into her home.
There is a time when I moved in. I moved to Illinois. Upon moving back from Illinois to Wisconsin, I resided with my daughter's father. It was more comfortable for me to move in with Miss Olds.
Okay, so you had been neighbors, then you moved, and then you came back. And when you came back, you needed a place to stay.
That's correct.
And what kind of an arrangement did you make with regard to paying rent, paying for utilities?
There was no agreement. There was no rent to be paid.
So that
no
zero
utilities.
rent?
Correct.
So you were living with her as a friend?
As a friend.
Now, you got arrested when?
Shortly after I moved into home, 2 weeks after I moved in.
And you were arrested for a DUI?
That is not correct. I was arrested for non-compliance of vehicle. The registration for the vehicle was not the right title, the plates for the car, and I did not have a valid driver's license.
Why didn't you have a driver's license?
I didn't have a driver's license due to non-payment of SR22 insurance.
Had nothing to do with a DUI?
There's no DUI charges, no.
Did you ever have a DUI?
Years past, 10 years ago, 7 years ago.
Now, your car was impounded, but your car was impounded and you were taken into custody. How long were you taken into custody for?
3 days.
And what were the charges?
I had no charges. I was released due to no charges.
When they take you into custody, they have to book you on a charge.
I did receive a refusal after an arrest for an OWI, but there was no charge.
No. OWI means what?
Operating while intoxicated.
Correct. And you refused to take a breathalyzer.
I took the breathalyzer. I refused the blood.
So if you refused the blood draw, you were taken into custody because they either suspected that you were on some sort of drug or alcohol.
Correct.
Okay. So your car was impounded. You wanted to get the car out of impound. This is what you did. In order to get a car out of impound, you have to show that you're the owner of the car. You signed over the title to the defendant.
Correct.
The defendant went and got the car. You got out of jail 3 days later. Where did you go when you got out of jail?
I went to the defendant's home where we were staying.
How long did you stay there?
I was roughly there for about 3 weeks.
And during that 3-week time, did you drive your car?
I did drive the vehicle.
Again, without a driver's license?
Unfortunately, yes.
Do you have a driver's license now?
Currently, I do not.
So what do you want the car back for?
Basically, I'm in need of the vehicle. The finances I can use to get my license. I am able to obtain my driver's license.
I can't order her to give you back the vehicle. You've already told me that you were driving without a license. You got picked up. You were held for 3 days because you refused to take tests to determine whether or not you were under the influence of some sort of controlled substance. You finally got out. You went back to where you were living. The car was there. You again drove the car without a license. You think I'm going to be party to giving you back your car?
I'm not asking for the car, ma'am. I'm asking for the amount of the vehicle so that I can obtain my driver's license.
That's not going to happen. She's not going to pay you for the car.
She took my vehicle. I own the vehicle. She just took it. I have title and licensing. I paid multiple things here.
No, I understand that you paid for it, but you turned it over to her.
I did not.
I actually, yes, you did, because you said you did.
With an agreement from her that she would return the vehicle to me.
She can't give you back the car if you're going to drive it.
I'm not saying that I'm going to drive it. I need to sell it financially to get to my job, so I need to sell the vehicle. She sold the vehicle. It is my vehicle. I need to sell it for finances. Basically, she took $3,000 out of my pocket that I can use to provide for my children. So by her taking this vehicle, me moving.
Shh, just a second. Where are your children?
My children are home with their father.
Okay, and in what state is their father?
Their father's in Wisconsin, where I reside with them.
So is what you're telling me that you now live with your children and their father in Wisconsin? Is that what you're telling me?
That's correct.
Since when?
Since I left Miss Old's home.
Now, when you left Wisconsin, where did you go?
I went to Illinois for 2 years.
And where were your children when you were in Illinois?
They were with me.
When you came back to Wisconsin, why did you bring the children to their father and you move in with her? I'm not following the story.
Because I know of the state of Miss Olds being unstable. I didn't want to bring my children into the environment that she lived in. So therefore, I left them with their father and I moved in and resided with her temporarily. We were going to, later down the road, if she received property of her home, that we were going to move my children in and we were going to fix the home up.
Have you ever been in a drug program?
No.
Do you need one?
I do not. There was no charges on that.
I didn't ask you whether there were charges. I'm asking you a question.
No, ma'am. I do not.
I disagree.
Okay. I want you to tell me, she came and moved into your house, and there was some indication in your answer that when she moved out of your house, that there was some indication of things that were sort of untoward. You want to tell me about that?
Sure, Your Honor. Melissa moved into my home October 17th of 2018. I've known Melissa, it'll be 5 years, February 25th of 2019. That's when I closed on my home. Her children met my children. Okay, that's where the relationship began.
This is a very short program.
Yes, okay.
I asked you about what you found in the house.
I found drug paraphernalia in the house.
What?
That's not true, Your Honor.
Chore boy and a chore boy.
What is that?
To me, it looks like almost a Brillo pad. It's used to push crack into a pipe.
And how do you know that, Heather?
You told me.
That is not mine.
I found it in her room. So she told me that Saturday night she was leaving to go to work. She left her daughters at home with me and my 2 children. She left to go, and approximately noon the following day, November 5th, we were worried. The children were worried. So I Googled the Milwaukee County inmate search, saw that Melissa was in fact in custody and had been taken in on a DUI. That's when I need to see what's going on here. Her behavior had changed from when she moved in with me on October 17th until the arrest. And the arrest was for her 5th DUI. So she's had 4 priors. I don't know what happened with the 5th, but that's what she was arrested for.
Did she have her children there with you?
The children would come back and forth.
How old are your children?
They're 12 and 11. For their stability, I let them stay with their father.
What happened with the car?
The car, so when Melissa was released from custody, she came to me and asked if I would go to the DMV. She signed the title over, and I paid for registration, title, tax, transfer fees. So we did that because she could not get it out of impound without
a license.
A license.
She couldn't get it out without a license.
And not only that, Your Honor, because of everything else ordered because of these prior DUIs. So I paid for that because she was unable to.
Just a second.
Title license.
I want you to tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
What expense you had in getting the car out of impound?
Impound was $234.
Your Honor, I have the receipt.
I don't want
from the tow as well.
Just a second. I don't want you to say anything. Next. How
Transfer fees, titles, registration.
How much?
Between $250 and $300. I do not have those documents because they were stolen from me out of my house.
Okay. And what kind of car do we have?
It is a 2002 white Chrysler Sebring.
Could you look that up for me? Thank you.
Your Honor, I also have the paperwork when I originally purchased the vehicle.
I don't care. You have to understand, I am totally unsympathetic with you.
I apologize.
I think that you've made a whole lot of bad mistakes in your life, and I really don't care about you. I care about your 2 children who are 11 and 12, who hop from one place to another because apparently you can't get your act together.
No, I do have my act together. Those were from multiple years ago, ma'am. There is no charge now. I have not had an OWI in 7 years. That was the past before my children, before they started growing up and needing me. I am here now to show them, and Miss Ols has been a...
You went to Illinois, you took your children. The father was in Wisconsin, you brought him back from Illinois. Now
They've been jostled around and...
Just a second.
I apologize.
You're not following it.
I am,
You're
ma'am.
not following it. That's shorter distance in time than 7 years ago.
That is their stability there, and that's where I reside with them as well. We are all together as a family.
Oh, that's great.
And Your Honor, Miss Wolf, I'd like to point that Miss Wolf also has a drug and alcohol issue. She has been in multiple drug programs. She is currently on a DPA, so her actions as well.
Great
I
environment
believe
for
she
all
has
the
stole the
children,
vehicle
then.
to sell for her drug habit.
That's just wonderful. That only suggests to me, actually, Miss Therian, that when you said to me before you wanted the children to have more stability, so
correct.
you took them to her house.
No, I did not bring them to her house.
Okay.
No, I did not bring them there.
All right, Judge, the price range is $360 to $649.
Your Honor, Melissa's just allegation of me being a drug addict.
Just a second.
Okay, I know.
It's not even there.
Yeah.
It's not there. It's gone.
It's
gone.
I agree.
Now, you want to tell me about the broken windows and the threatening text on January 6th that you got from her?
So on January 5th, Scott, who is here with me on my behalf, went to my home to get some items for me. Upon arrival, he discovered a broken kitchen window. I have pictures of all of this.
Okay, so you have a broken kitchen window.
Broken kitchen window.
And?
He came, picked me up from his house. I started opening blinds in my home, and there were 4 broken windows, smashed, shattered, on the south side of my house.
Okay. How do you connect that to her?
Because I received 2 text messages.
I'd like to see them.
You got it.
I hope I'm not being in connection in any of this at all. I would not do damage to your home, Heather, no matter how mad I'm mad at you. You know that.
Here's the photos.
I don't want the photos. I want the text messages.
Here you are, Your Honor. They're highlighted.
Your Honor, I would not do anything of any sort that's childish behavior. I would not do anything, no damage to her home. I'm trying to claim my vehicle back for the value so I can sell it.
You're not getting your vehicle back. I'm not giving a vehicle back to somebody who's been driving without a license. Your vehicle's worth $500. She paid $234 to get your car out of impound. You paid her no money when you and your children were living there for months. You're even.
I've got it on my
We're
text
done.
message.
Thank you.
Why does that excuse? You may step out.
Oh, absolutely. She definitely betrayed.
It's absolutely insulting.
She betrayed it by manipulating.
Because I opened my door to her.
Just leaving somebody out in the cold in the winter.
She didn't pay me rent. She didn't pay for any utilities.
Me and my 2 daughters were left out in the cold.
And I was offering her help.
I just hope we can move on.
We burned the bridge.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone.
Case 2152, Robinson versus Lane.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How long have you been in the business of renting party equipment?
We've been in the business about 2.5 years.
And when you started the business by purchasing how many pieces of equipment?
We purchased 3 used units.
3 used?
Yes, obstacle courses. And we rented them out. And then we saved the money and then progressed renting them out and getting more.
Now, the jumper that you rented to the defendants.
Yes, ma'am.
Was one that you bought used or one that you bought new?
I bought it new.
When?
I bought it on 7/19/21. I have the receipt for it.
I'd like to see it, please. Okay, and what you rented from them was a 38-foot obstacle course.
We didn't rent from them.
Who did?
Some friends of ours did. They used our property for their daughter's Sweet 16. They paid the Robinsons. They signed the rental agreement. We did not.
Is that correct?
Sandra's actually the one that handed me the cash.
Did somebody sign a rental agreement?
Yes.
Who was it?
It's a lady. Her name is...
Okay, so let me understand that this is... let me frame it. You rented this piece of equipment, which is a 38-foot obstacle course, to someone whose name is... And according to your complaint, it was returned damaged.
Yes.
You say it can't be repaired, although you tried to patch it.
Right.
And you want the cost of a new obstacle course. And while you paid $4,500, you want $9,000.
Well, I have a list of loss of rentals because people...
You're not entitled to that. Okay. More important, I want to know how you think if these people were not signatories to your rental agreement, why...
We did all the... I dealt completely with Sandra. They run a business and their property, which is for parties. She said they do cigar club parties, they do Sweet 16 parties on their property.
Okay, got it. You do this as a business?
So, yes, we run...
The answer is yes.
Yes.
You use your home property? Is it your home property that you use?
Yes.
So you have a large enough piece of property that other people who want to make parties for their children do them at your house?
Yes.
So you took physical custody of this?
No.
Who did?
The renters, the people...
No, it's physical custody, not legal custody. We're not talking about legal custody. You took physical custody and put it on your property.
The people that signed the original rental agreement were on the property at the time that they dropped it off.
I don't care. It was on your property.
Yes, it was on our property.
So that's a yes.
Yes.
So it was on your property, but used by somebody else, and they were just using your property.
Yes.
Is that correct?
I had it rented out on Sunday. So when I dropped it off, I told Sandra that we would have to come at 6:30 in the morning to pick it up, to clean it and deliver it the next day. She agreed to that because normally we don't leave it overnight if it's going out the next day because we need to sterilize it. When we got there at 7 in the morning, we came in and we were getting ready to pick up the 38-foot obstacle. I noticed that the dogs had chewed, and there are 2 dogs, a boxer and another dog, were still running around and lifting their leg and urinating on the bouncer. We told her, your dog ate our obstacle. There's pieces of the vinyl, which I have pictures of it where your dog just ate
You
it.
have pictures of our dog chewing it?
Just a second. I don't want to hear you again. I tried to ignore you quietly.
Obstacle. So then she went in to go and get her husband. Her husband came out. He signed paper saying he was responsible for loss of rentals and the damages or replacement of it.
May I see it, please?
Yes. And also he sent text messages to our phone that same morning apologizing and saying he would do everything to replace it, plus the loss of rentals that we were going to lose.
I'd like to see those texts, and I would like to see his signature on a piece of paper assuming responsibility.
And then,
just a second.
And here's the text messages.
Oh, would you show this to Mr. Lang, please? Yes. Did you sign that, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
I signed it under distress.
Under distress?
Under distress.
There's no such thing. You mean duress?
Duress. She was...
Just a second. There's a difference between distress...
Duress.
Okay. At 7:29 a.m., you said, I, Aaron Lang, recognize and acknowledge that a jumper obstacle course has been damaged from a dog. I will take care of the repairs and work with the rental company and its owners to get this resolved ASAP. And then about 15 minutes later, you wrote, I'm so sorry again. Let me know when you drop it off, please. Okay, so you tried to drop it off the next day.
I was trying to drop it off the next day to Albert, our repair guy.
Just a second, just answer my question. It doesn't require a long answer. The next day, you were trying to get it resolved, and you're back and forth with him, let me know, et cetera, and then you don't hear from him.
No.
Then it stopped. Tried calling you, I tried messaging you to get this resolved.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Mr. Lang, there's no question. You acknowledge the damage and you agreed to pay for it. That's what you have. Can I have that back? You acknowledged in here that you would take full responsibility for this. What's your defense?
My defense is when they arrived on the property to pick up their jumper that was left.
Don't speak. They came to you first.
Yes.
You came outside.
Yes.
Okay. And when you came outside, you had a conversation with whom?
I believe Miss Robinson.
With Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you say to her and what did she say to you?
She just went hysterically, upset that the jumper was damaged, and that's when I went inside and
Just a
dropped
second.
my husband.
What did she say?
She just started crying, and she
started to cry.
Yeah, and she's like, your dog's damaged my obstacle course.
Just a second. So she was crying.
Yes.
And did you have any issue when she said to you, your dog's damaged my obstacle course? Did you see what was bitten off from the obstacle course? That's either a yes or no. The answer is yes. Okay. What kind of dogs do you have?
A German Shepherd and a Boxer.
And where had you stored this unit overnight?
It was left outside.
In the backyard, in the front yard?
We live on a huge ranch, so it's a 2.5 acre parcel. And it's been known that our neighbor dogs always hop.
I don't want to hear neighbor dogs. I don't want to hear coyotes. I don't want to hear bears.
My witness, he
Just
is
a
the repair
second.
guy.
Stand up, sir. I don't need an explanation of this. I'm not going into the repair jumper business. Thankfully, I have a job, and I'm too old to learn anything new.
And later today.
You have the phone.
I do. To this day, I am still paying for the data for that phone.
That's a lie.
Just a second.
I literally
just a
Tabitha and Brandon Robinson claim their customers, Aaron and Sandra Lang, refused to pay the costs of repairs after damaging their jumper house.
Okay, now I'm going to get back to you. So now your wife comes in to get you, and you went outside.
Yes.
And?
I go outside. Miss Robinson is completely hysterical, crying, just out of control in hysterics.
Okay.
Her husband's yelling, screaming, profanity.
No, tell me. Oh, I want you to tell me exactly. No. I want you to tell me exactly. She's crying, and he starts yelling.
Yes.
Well, you came out and said what to them when you came out? And then I want to hear exactly what was said.
I asked to see the damage, for them to show me what was going on, what had happened. They showed me the damage. We both took pictures. Again,
No, you both took,
pictures.
just a second. So he composed himself long enough to take pictures.
Yes.
And you were composed enough to take pictures.
Yes, I was.
Which you have.
Yes.
And then what happened?
Throughout their screaming.
No, I want you to tell me. Now you're
I'm
taking
telling you.
pictures, and?
Brandon is on the phone with their repair guy of some sort.
Okay, so he's on the phone. He's composed enough to be on the phone. Now, before he got on the phone with his repair guy, did you discuss with him your responsibility to take care of the damage? That's either yes or a no.
Yes.
Yes. So once you said, I'll take care of the damage, he got on the phone with his repair guy.
Before I agreed to take care of the damages, before we discussed that, he was already on the phone with the repair guy.
Okay, and then he got off the phone, but you signed this the same day. So I want to know when in this conversation you signed it. You need something to lean on. Somebody has to give you a piece of paper. Somebody has to get a pen.
I did not fill out that piece of paper.
You don't have to.
Tabitha is the one that filled out the piece of paper in their vehicle.
Who did?
Miss Robinson is the one that filled it out in her vehicle.
Okay,
and then
so
handed
just
it
a
to me to
second.
sign.
So she got in her vehicle.
Crying in hysterics.
I don't care. She got in her vehicle, and where was her husband?
Outside loading a bouncer.
So he was outside.
Yes.
She went inside her vehicle, and he was busy.
Yes.
And you live in a house.
Yes.
Yeah, but you didn't.
I did not.
You went over to the truck where she was hysterical. She wrote out this document, right?
Yes.
And you signed it.
Yes, I did.
There we go. Make my life very easy. Did your repair guy try to fix the bouncer?
I do have a receipt where we did have it, tried to get it temporary patch where we paid $600 just to make sure we could still rent it out. So that was paid for. This is my repairman. He is my witness. And then also I do have a paper with an estimate of what it would be to repair the obstacle.
May I see it, please? After he did this job, which he did on October 4th, from the 3rd to the 4th, did you rent it out?
No, we tried to, but I have pictures that I brought of what happens when the air flows through. The patches won't stay. You have to go up inside the bouncer and actually put a patch on the inside and the outside, and it would cost more money. My witness he
Just
is
a
the repair
second.
guy that can
What
tell you.
you're telling me is that your witness prepared this estimate of what it would cost to repair the jumper.
Yes.
Stand up, sir. I don't need an explanation of this. I'm not going into the repair jumper business. Thankfully, I have a job, and I'm too old to learn anything new. Did you prepare this estimate to fix the jumper?
Yes, ma'am. That is the full estimate to repair it properly.
To do it properly?
Location. Yes.
Okay.
The first one was the temporary repair.
Listen, I got it. I'm a fast learner, and anybody who watches this program better learn to think fast too, because I have a lot of things to do today. So you prepare this. So for $2,500, in addition to the $600, did they pay you the $600? Yes. So in addition to the $600, so in total, $3,100 would fix the jumper.
Correct.
Great. I'm going to fix the jumper. How long is it going to take you?
Roughly about 2 days. 2 to 3
days. Piece of cake. $3,100. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
I don't owe them anything. I didn't rent the bouncer
I'm just happy that we're going to have our bouncer repaired.
because they're money hungry.
They're looking for a payday.
The truth always comes out, and what's right is what's right.
So initially, after reading the papers, I thought the plaintiffs, while perfectly matched in their tops, were suing the wrong people because these people didn't sign the rental agreement. So any damage or any agreement to pay damage, I was with you from the beginning that these are the wrong people. It came out that they had a little bit more involvement, the defendant, than they wanted.
They agreed to pay.
Exactly. He knew he did the wrong thing. He probably saw his dog destroy the jumper from the kitchen window and felt bad and knew that it was his responsibility. I don't think that they deserve $9,000 for a brand new jumper, but they deserve to get it fixed and to keep making money off of it.
Right.
Case 2178, Glad versus Sawbird. All parties, please come forward.
Serenity Glad is suing her ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Sauber, for unpaid loans.
Ms. Glad, if my memory is correct, you are suing the defendant for a series of small loans that you claim she owes you for, and those loans were created, according to you, during a period of time that you and the defendant were either involved in a relationship and or engaged.
Yes.
How long do you know each other?
We've known each other since May of 2021.
And there came a time when the defendant came to live with you, or you went to live with the defendant?
I moved to Colorado to live with her.
And when was that?
That was in May of 2022.
When you moved in with her to Colorado, were you working?
Not at the time, no.
What kind of work did you do in Colorado?
I was unemployed.
How'd you support yourself?
A friend of the family helped me out due to my disabilities.
Who pays your rent?
The friend of the family.
Do you own a car?
I did.
Do you now?
No.
Are you working now?
Not at the moment, no.
Prior to that?
I was out in Colorado.
Working?
Yes.
For whom?
It was a local coffee shop.
Okay. The point that you moved in, what loans do you claim you made to her?
I had paid part of a vet bill.
When was that?
That was at the end of May. I have the invoices here.
And what makes that a loan?
Because at the time she didn't have money and she had agreed to pay me back when she had gotten a job.
Did you agree to pay her back for this vet bill when you got a job?
No, ma'am. The friend of the family was going to pay for it all, but she insisted on paying it.
Tell me about that.
So in the vet office, I was messaging the friend of the family, and he was willing to pay it in full. And she was like, no, I'm going to pay for it. You need to quit asking him for money. I was like, he is the person that supports me right now. We do not have the money, so he's going to help us. She said that she would pay for half of it, I believe it was.
For half?
For half.
Okay.
So it was like $100.
How much was it?
$170.
Let's keep moving on.
I've been paying my data on my phone and she keeps turning it off.
Given to her during their engagement.
Now, what other loans do you think she owes you for?
I had bought her tires for her car.
When?
That was on June 17th, I believe.
Were you using the car?
I was using the car.
Okay. For how long were you using the car?
About 2 months.
And what were you using the car for?
Getting to work.
So at that point, it was as much your vehicle as it was hers because she wasn't working. So you took the car to work.
Yes.
And the car needed tires.
Yes.
And?
So I ended up paying for them just for safety reasons, given that.
Well, it's your safety. You were driving it. Right?
That's true. Yes.
Let's move on. Next loan.
On top of that, I had to pay for vet insurance.
No. So after you left Colorado, when you were no longer a couple, did you request that she continue to pay for the vet insurance? That's either a yes or a no.
I don't remember.
Well, she says you did. How many months did you pay after you left Colorado? Show me. After you left her, you were no longer a couple. How many months did you pay?
I had ended up paying...
Just the months?
2 months.
And how much were those 2 months?
$71.46.
What's next?
After that, the biggest one is the phone that she has.
Tell me, when you got the phone, when she got a new phone, because I assume she had a phone, is that right?
I actually had just bought a brand new phone, and I insisted that I didn't need a new one.
What kind of phone did you buy?
iPhone 11 mini.
And?
I got the phone, and I have a hard time seeing, and I didn't have glasses, and I was like, it would be nice to have a larger phone. We actually originally went to get us on the same plan. I was going to keep my same phone, but I was looking at the phone. She was like, well, let's both just get new phones. I was like, that's not a good idea. She was like, well, let's just get them. It's fine. So I traded in my old phone for about $400, and we got the phone, and the agreement was, since I traded in my old phone, I still had to pay off the old phone because I just got it. So the agreement was I pay off my old phone, and to keep the service on, I would pay for my service and my data, and she would pay off the phone itself. That was our original agreement. And then a few weeks later, she's like, I never said that.
Okay. How much did you end up paying for her phone?
As of currently, there is $575 paid on her phone.
Do you still have that phone?
I do.
Can I see that there's $575 left on her phone? Not because you got two when you got new phones. So just hers.
I have this.
Is that for one phone?
That is
or
just
two?
for one phone, yes.
Okay, would you show this to the defendant, Kevin, please? And you have the phone?
I do.
And you're not paying for it?
I'm paying for the service. For what we agreed on.
I'm not talking about service. That receipt is for one phone.
Yes.
It says $14. That's what it says.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. And you have the phone?
I do.
Great. So $71.46 and $514 is $585. Anything else?
To this day, I am still paying for the data for that phone.
That's a lie.
Just a sec.
I literally
Just a sec. Cut off your data, let her get her own plan. She'll go in, she'll get her own plan. Right now, what's due and owing on the phone is $514. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been paying my data on my phone, and she keeps turning it off.
Just a sec. I suggest you get a new plan. You have your phone, get another
I've been trying to, but she keeps...
I can't help you with that.
I understand.
You know, I'm not one of those, what do they call them, geniuses?
Genius bar.
Yeah, I'm not a genius person. Not with phones anyway. Okay, 7146 and 514. My math is almost correct. It's $585.46. That's what she owes you.
400 of that is from my old phone.
Judgment for the plaintiff. That's what she owes.
Okay.
That's what she owes on it. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
I'm okay with it.
I do think it was a very fair hearing.
I'm okay with it because I, just want things to be all right between us because she's still my best friend and I still love her.
I mean, I feel the same way, I do love her. She's my best friend. Same exact thing. I just hope things smooth over.
So I think naturally when you're engaged to be married to someone or when you're married or even in a very serious relationship for a year, you don't keep a laundry list of expenses. I took you to dinner this night for our anniversary. Here's your half. We went on vacation. Here's your half. So it makes it that much more important when you're in a serious relationship like that, because in the eyes of the law, those things are sort of a wash in a relationship. So if you believe that something is really a loan, that you've both decided as partners, I know we're together, I know we do things together, that we both cover the expenses and pay for, but this $1,000 phone is outside the scope of that relationship. Let's just write something.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 2131, Gutierrez versus George.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Gutierrez, this is your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
And who is this?
My grandmother.
And that's your daughter?
Yes.
I'm reading the complaint and the answer, and this is what your complaint is about. You claim that your mother had you falsely arrested, as a result of which you spent 4 months in jail. While you were in jail, it is your claim that your mother used a debit card of yours, I think $3,000 worth, and you had some belongings at her house that you want. I gather that you've had some problems in your own life. You have at least 3 children.
Yes.
Was the state ever involved in placing the children in foster care?
No.
And what about your daughter?
My daughter, yes.
And how old is your daughter?
She's 19 months.
At what point did the state become involved with your daughter?
In May of this year, May 18th of this year, when there was false allegations made against, when my mom refused to give me my daughter back.
In May, when you brought your daughter to your mother's house, when?
I called my brother on May 17th of 2022, and I asked him to babysit my daughter.
Your brother. And does your brother live with your mother?
Yes, he was staying with her at that time.
So on the 17th, you asked your brother, who was staying with your mother, if he would babysit for your daughter. Where were you going?
I was needing to go to Fresno, and I had just received my income tax check. So I needed to go to Fresno, and I was on foot because my car was impounded the day prior.
Were you going alone?
To Fresno, yes.
So you brought your daughter on the 17th of May to your mother's house, and your brother was supposed to watch him, according to you, while you went to Fresno.
Yeah, he met me down the street, actually, because there's a restraining order. So I didn't actually go to the resident.
Who has a restraining order?
My mother has a restraining order on me.
Is the restraining order that she has against you a final order or a temporary order?
It's good for 3 anything.
Okay, so it was a default.
I don't know what that means.
It means you didn't show up and they entered a final order of protection in favor of your mother. So you're not permitted to go to her home.
Right.
Since that's not really the subject of this, I don't have to get into it. In any event, you went on the 17th, you dropped your child off at your mother's house, your brother was there, and then what happened?
I finally got to Fresno, I got a ride, I got to the check cashing place. It literally took me...
Don't tell me, I'm not interested in that. 17th, you dropped the child off. You were supposed to pick the child up when?
That evening.
On the 17th?
Yes.
And did you?
I showed up it was a little before 10. I showed up, I called my brother, I said, I'm down the street. He was like, yeah, I'll be right there.
10 o'clock at night?
It was almost, ma'am, I was on foot. And
it's just, I asked you 10 o'clock at night.
It was right before 10, yes.
Okay.
When I got there, I called him. It had been about 15 minutes had gone by, and I called him back, and I said, where are you at? And he said, Mom won't let me leave with the baby. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, Mom won't let me leave with the baby. My mother instinct kicked in, and I went in like fight or flight, and I walked down to my mom's house, and I knocked on the door and was asking for my daughter. I finally came to my...
Okay. So when your brother said that to you, instead of going to the police, you violated the order of protection.
I ended up leaving and calling the sheriff.
Okay, but you didn't. You went
Of
to
course, yes. I was going for my daughter. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what happened at 10 o'clock at night or 10:30?
Yes. I finally realized that about 5 minutes of being at the house, I was like, okay, you need to leave. So I left because she wouldn't open the door to give me my daughter. I left. I called the sheriff. And so I told them the situation. So they had walked down to my mother's and let her know. As it was late, the baby was already asleep. And so the cops that came back down to me and they said, look, we don't, because they knew me.
Whatever. I'm allowing you to give me a certain amount of hearsay so that I can make this story make sense.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand? But don't tell me because they knew you, what they thought.
Yes, ma'am.
You were told to come back in the morning.
Yeah, the agreement was that between my mom and the sheriff was that I could pick up Malia in the morning. The sheriff told me to call before 6 o'clock in the morning before he got off his shift and that he would come back out and do another standby. The next morning came. Between me and my grandma, I had to call my mom.
No, just a second. What does that mean between you and your grandma? Your agreement was you were supposed to call the sheriff. The sheriff, according to you before 6.
I called my grandma.
No, not the grandma. The agreement was you weren't supposed to call your grandma. You were supposed to call the sheriff.
Right, but I needed a ride. I needed a ride. So I called my grandma to have her come pick me up.
Just a second. Where were you?
I was staying at a friend's house. I didn't live in Selma.
Just a second. You were staying at what friend's house?
The sheriff came, got behind us, and tried to pin us in, and my grandma went to take off.
So your grandmother was driving.
Yes, ma'am.
And she was trying to evade the police to go someplace else.
Kimberly Gutierrez claims her mother, Rhonda George, owes for debit card charges and personal belongings.
You were staying at what friend's house?
My friend Isaiah's.
Isaiah?
Yes. I stayed the night there waiting for my daughter.
Just a second. Isaiah. Isaiah what?
Bonilla.
And what is your relationship with him?
He's my best friend. He's been my best friend since high school.
Where are you living now?
I live with my grandmother right now since I was released.
Full time?
Right now, yes.
What do you mean right now, yes?
I'm in the process of getting my own place.
Okay, so you called your grandmother and then?
Called the sheriff.
And then?
Waited for the sheriff to respond.
And then?
The sheriff did not respond for a few hours.
Okay, so you were waiting for the sheriff to respond. The sheriff did 19 months old. And she had prior to that been living with you?
Yeah, she was living with me all the time, yes.
She was living with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now let's get back to this arrest that you had. According to your papers, your daughter was with you up until that time. What time did she wake up in the morning?
Usually she wakes up between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, well, then could you tell me why, if she wakes up between 7:30 and 8, why you would even contemplate picking her up before 8 o'clock in the morning?
Because one of my issues was with certain officers that would have been responding, and the officer that responded the night of the incident, he told me if you wanted me to be the officer to respond, you need to call me before I get off my shift.
Fine, but he didn't respond to you. But according to you, he didn't respond to you.
No, it was
so
a different
then my
officer.
question to you is...
They did respond at 7 o'clock in the morning.
And did what?
It was a horrible mess.
Well, he did what?
They responded. When they responded, he showed up. The officer told me that he did not want to be there. He said, if I have my way, you'll never see your daughter again. And I looked at him and I said, wow. Okay.
What do you mean you looked at him? Where were you when you looked at him?
I was right next to him, but I just...
Where, at the precinct or at your house?
No, down the street from my mom's.
Okay, so he responded to you when you were down the street at your mother's house. And he said, I'm not getting involved in this. And if I had my way, you would never have your daughter. And so what did you do?
So at that point, my grandma pulled up and I told him, I said, your assistance is no longer needed and that my grandma could just get my daughter. And he says, well, you already called me. The deputy did. So I said, okay, whatever. He asked me if I had somewhere to live and I said yes and whatever. And so he went down to my mom's. When he went down to my mom's, he was supposed to just go down there and get my daughter. When he was taking too long, I could walk so far this way and I being said about me. Well, I guess the back door is screwed and nailed shut at the house. I don't know why.
I don't know. It's not important.
Yeah. So anyways, my best friend went over the back fence.
What do you mean your best friend?
Isaiah Bonilla.
Oh, so you brought Isaiah with you.
He went.
Just a second. So you have your grandmother and then you've got Isaiah, your best friend, also to go to your mother's house.
Yes, ma'am. He got my daughter.
Isaiah brought her to where you were.
Yes.
And then what happened?
I started walking back towards Isaiah's house. When I started walking back towards Isaiah's house, my grandma pulled up in her car and she was like, are you ready to go get your car out of the impound lot? And I said, yeah, I'm ready. And so I got in her back seat with my daughter. When I got in the back seat, I got in the middle. Well, then she was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Your mom's over there saying a whole bunch of stuff to the deputies, so I don't know what's going to happen. And so I was like, well, I got to go get my stuff from Isaiah's. So I go to jump back out the car. As I go to jump back out the car.
But just a second. Now you have your daughter.
Because I needed my wallet. My bag was at Isaiah's. My purse and everything was at Isaiah's. I was going to go back and pick it up. Well, right when we were going to go back, the sheriff came, got behind us, and tried to like pin us in, and my grandma went to take off.
So your grandmother was driving.
Yes, ma'am.
And she was trying to evade the police to go someplace else.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many police cars were involved?
One.
Were there ever any more than one police car?
Once we got to the police department, of course, there's a police department.
No, I'm talking about the number of police cars. So there's a police car now.
Coming behind us? No. It was just one.
It was just one?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were accelerating to get there? Was the police car siren on?
No.
Well, how did you know that he was trying to pull you over?
Because he tried to hit her car.
Oh, that would give you a clue. So you're telling me he tried to hit your grandmother's car without notifying you in any way to pull over?
Yes, ma'am. That's why I spent 4 months in jail and I beat my case. I went to trial and beat my case. Everything was dismissed.
I'm not responsible. May.
Yes, ma'am.
And now uncross your arms. And now we're in December.
Yes, ma'am.
Of the same year.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're out of jail.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been out of jail for about?
Since August 25th.
Who does your daughter live with?
Right now, she's with the mentor. She's my ex-husband's aunt, ma'am.
And who placed her with your ex-husband's aunt?
I did.
Not the court?
No, I requested her.
Does the child's great aunt have guardianship?
No,
custody?
I'm getting my daughter back, ma'am.
But for the last 3 months, she's been with this aunt.
Right, because Child Protective Services did get involved, and Child Protective Services, I've been doing everything that...
Well, that's what I asked you. I asked you whether Child Protective Services
Child Protective Services did get involved with my daughter, yes.
Did? That's what I assumed.
And I've been drug testing, I've been doing...
Just a second.
Yes,
That's what I assumed, that Child Protective Services was involved. And so if Child Protective Services are involved, then they are overseeing the child's placement with the aunt. You have an ongoing case.
Yes, ma'am.
Probate court.
No, not probate.
Which one? Family court?
Family court, yes.
When was the case opened with regard to your daughter in the family court?
May 18th, the day I got arrested, ma'am.
And that child became involved with the foster care system in May. Okay, so your grandmother also spent a little time in jail. How much?
2 weeks.
I quite frankly don't understand your case.
While I was in jail, Your Honor, while I was incarcerated, my mom had all my debit cards, my ID. She had went and actually, because of me getting arrested, she had went to Isaiah's and picked up all of my stuff.
You mean, just a second. Let me understand this. It is your claim that the reason that you had to go to Isaiah's house was to get your pocketbook, knew of the problem because he was part of this little conspiracy to get your daughter out of the house and was at the back of the house to pick up your daughter who was being put over the fence. So why would Isaiah give your mother?
Because she went over there with a baseball bat and busted out his windows. On February 4th this year, I lost my twins, okay? And that was the first time I had contacted my mother because I was going through it and I messaged her and I told her, I said, I really need my mom right now. If anything, I need my mom right now.
Kimberly Gutierrez is accusing her mother, Rhonda George, of wrongfully using her debit card and keeping her belongings.
So why would Isaiah give your mother?
Because she went over there with a baseball bat and busted out his windows. And the reason why all of my things were at my mother's was because I hadn't lived at my mom's for over a year.
What your case is about
is my belongings.
You claim that your mother went over and got your wallet from Isaiah's because I asked you what you were doing here. I certainly am not looking into the allegations of false arrest. It sounds as if you did the absolute wrong thing in trying to regain your daughter, whose custody, actually, you lost at a dispositional hearing and was determined to be a dependent child and placed in foster care. That's what happened here.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not even addressing your claims of false arrest.
Okay,
what you did was actually the wrong thing. I said, so what are you suing for? Now, you said
my belongings,
okay.
my
what,
money.
Just a second. What money?
She used my CalFresh, which is my EBT food stamps, and my CalWorks, which is my cash aid through the welfare department.
Just a second. So you're suing her for taking your food stamps and your welfare check.
Right.
Just a second. Your food stamps and your welfare check.
And this is the statement from my tax return of all the money that was on there.
On where?
On my debit card. It had over $3,000.
I haven't lived in your mother's house.
I moved back to my mother's in the
Just
beginning.
a second.
Yes, ma'am.
You hadn't lived in your mother's house. According to what you said to me, Whitney, was it a year ago? Didn't you say that you moved out of
My
your
mom
mother?
allowed me to come back.
Because there was an order of protection.
She had called me. I was living in Fresno, ma'am.
Just a second. You hadn't lived in your mother's house. You said you were living with your grandmother. For how long were you living with your grandmother before
I
May?
said I was living with my grandmother right now. I was living in Fresno, ma'am.
I want to know what property you think...
My clothing, my husband's clothing, my daughter's bassinet. I had jewelry there. I had all of my clothing.
Why would all of your clothing be there? You were living with your grandmother.
I hadn't moved into my grandmother's until I got out of jail. I was living in Fresno. And my mom...
Just a second.
You're not
Is
letting
that
me
what...
talk.
I'm not understanding your movements.
Okay, my mom kicked me out in 2021, okay? My daughter was just a few weeks old. My mom kicked me out due to her boyfriend.
She kicked you out?
Yes.
And?
When she kicked me out, I went through Marjorie Mason, and Marjorie Mason had placed me in hotels. I was placed in hotels for about 3 or 4 months, okay? And then it was about January of 21. I was at this time, I was pregnant with twins. They had genetic defects. On February 4th this year, I lost my twins, okay? And that was the first time I had contacted my mother because I was going through it, and I messaged her and I told her, I said, I really need my mom right now. If anything, I need my mom right now. My daughter had not seen my daughter. She was not a part of my daughter's life. I did not speak to my mother, nothing. So she made an agreement.
Now, let's talk about this card. Did you pick up her property from Isaiah? That's either a yes or a no. After the 18th of May.
Well, how do I answer that when I did pick up her property, but her cards were not in there? Her driver's license wasn't in there. Her food stamp card wasn't in there.
What were you doing at Isaiah's?
So she asked...
Was this when she was in jail?
Yes, right after she got arrested. So I went down there. No problem. He handed it right to me. Look in my wallet, make sure everything's in there. Like I said, I don't know if it was her driver's license or ID was missing, her food stamp card, and the other card, the bank card. I don't know how to get proof, but her best friend, he cashed out everybody money. There was a bunch of people,
I have
even himself.
The information right here.
Even himself and his girlfriend. I don't want to get into the whole...
I don't want to get into it either. It's far too complicated for me. Is what you're telling me that you never used a card that she had?
No, I did not.
Because I'm not concerned about food stamps or welfare.
I did not.
You're suing the wrong person. You were in jail, so you didn't need money from welfare. What proof do you have?
I have my bank statement.
What proof do you have that your mother withdrew money?
She was the one that went and picked up my cards.
Oh, I don't know that. That's not what she says, and you have no proof. Isaiah's not here, correct?
No.
I don't doubt you when you say that somebody used your card. I just need proof
My
to
mother,
show.
I know that she was supposed to get my daughter from CPS. She was supposed to go get a crib with my card, and I have where she, and my grandma can.
I just want you to show me.
Ma'am.
No. That your mother. I believe that people used your card.
She used my card.
No, I don't know that. I need you to show me proof that your mother
How am I
used
supposed to show? I have
that any of these were used. I mean, we have a lot of PlayStations, DoorDash, Amazon Marketplace.
And I was locked up throughout that whole time.
I understand that. I suggest that you concentrate on getting yourself together. If you want to reunite your family, I suggest that you put your priorities in order.
Oh, they are in order.
Evidently not.
I work, I have a job, I go to school, I'm getting my own place, but I'm going to court, I'm getting my kids back.
Good.
Can I give you this?
I don't know what it is.
Well, I just want you to look at it.
Can I see it? You're telling me this is part of your daughter's criminal history? What is this?
No, I'm just showing you she just got out of jail just a couple of days ago.
They haven't picked up charges, Your Honor.
You were arrested on November 28th?
Yes.
I'm not going to let you tell me about this. You have a lawyer?
Yes.
As I said, Ms. Gutierrez, if you're trying to work to get your family back together,
Yes, ma'am.
and your kids back together,
Yes, ma'am.
it would be a good idea to think about having more children until you get these children back under your roof. We're done here. Your case is dismissed.
You have a good day.
This court is adjourned.
Oh, I love her decision. I don't want to have nothing to do with any of them. They've burned their bridges.
Perfect example of suffer the little children. So you have 3 kids, none of whom live with you. They go back and forth between a grandmother who would participate in evading the police, but where the police had to stop them by ramming the car.
Yeah, I was going to say there was something in the papers about a crash and...
She said he tried.
Oh!